The era of Beast Girls begins with a pact with an SSS-Level School Beauty. Hey, fanfic family. So glad to see you here again to continue this incredible adventure. As always, kindly remember, this story is 100% fiction. So don't go looking for dimensional portals in your closet. All rights to this fantastic novel belong to the original author. We're just your humble narrators of epic tales. Are you enjoying the fanfic? Show it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and dropping us a like. And if you're impatient for more exclusive content, our Patreon is your happy place. Chapter 626 Empress, do you like me? The head massage went very smoothly for Xiao Ye, finishing in just 1 hour. However, the ancestral queen's bright eyes remained fixed on him with a deep, meaningful gaze, making him somewhat hesitant. That look was like that of a young girl in the throes of spring, gazing intently at her beloved, both shy and longing. Xiao Ye was wary of this gaze. The ancestral queen, she liked him? Could this be one of the 3 great illusions of life, you like me? This was the ancestral queen, after all. Alright, the massage is complete. Your body has been perfectly transformed into the body of a cosmic being. Your will has transformed into a soul. Now, you must cherish your body. Don't be as reckless as before, or if you die, you'll truly die and won't be resurrected. The restrictions imposed on you by Blue Star have also been lifted. You still control the spatial origin, but you are no longer limited by the spatial origins level. Xiao Ye sat in the chair, his clear gaze fixed on the crystalline jade body, waving its fists on the ground as he spoke. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, the primordial queen, completely naked, performed a flourish of her fists, facing Xiao Ye. Her posture was exquisite, and her punches were beautifully executed. Fortunately, only Xiao Ye witnessed it, otherwise, other muscular men would have been completely captivated by this beautiful woman's fists. Ahem. Your Majesty, I'll wait for you outside. Xiao Ye walked out calmly. The primordial queen stopped her movements, a hint of resentment in her eyes, and entered the bathroom. HMPH, I secretly learned human dance, specially to perform for you, and you didn't appreciate it at all? What a clueless stray man. Half an hour later, the two arrived at the Blue Star Wilderness Space City through a golden portal. In the pavilion, Xiao Ye looked at the ancestral empress, dressed in a golden phoenix robe, and smiled. Let's part ways here. Perhaps we'll meet again someday. The Destiny God's memories have returned, and Blue Star isn't in any immediate crisis. The ancestral empress shook her head. The people from the Xie star system will come again, we mustn't be careless. Perhaps I'll need your help in the future. Xiao Ye was taken aback, his face flushing. I almost forgot about that. If the people from the Xie star system arrive, notify me immediately, and I'll come right away. The ancestral empress nodded, thinking to herself, HMPH, don't think you can get rid of me. I've seen my body, I'll only marry you from now on. I just wonder if the human emperor has any feelings for me. Sigh, my body must be perfect, right? Did the human emperor feel anything for me? Speak of the devil. Xiao Ye and the ancestral empress's expressions changed as they heard a powerful aura emanating from beyond Blue Star, accompanied by a vast and resounding sound. The ancestral empress, the Secretary General of the Purple Star Domain Lord, has arrived. Hurry and come to greet him. The two exchanged a glance, their divine senses spreading out, and they immediately saw the dragon-drawn carriage floating in the starry sky beyond Blue Star. 9 dragons pulled the carriage, and beside it were 8 powerful, purple-skinned, humanoid beings. Inside the carriage sat an even more powerful being with an even more vast aura. Xiao Ye and the ancestral empress arrived, their expressions changing. The 9 dragons were all at the peak of the Emperor realm. And the 8 purple-skinned beings guarding the carriage were Star Domain realm beings. The one sitting in the luxurious carriage possessed an even more powerful aura, seemingly above the Star Domain realm. This lineup was the most powerful ever seen in any alien invasion of the Milky Way, unprecedented and unparalleled. The 8 purple-skinned beings locked their gazes on the ancestral empress and Xiao Ye, and a powerful Star Domain realm pressure crashed down upon them. Boom! As if struck by 100 million trucks, Xiao Ye and the ancestral empress were shaken several times. The 2 men's legs buckled, nearly collapsing to their knees. Xiao Ye successfully exerted his power, his Star Domain realm pressure repelling them. With a thunderous boom. His pressure alone was comparable to that of 8 purple-skinned Star Domain realm beings, and he even subtly gained the upper hand, pushing back the pressure. The 8 purple-skinned star domain realm beings' legs buckled, cold sweat pouring down their faces, their eyes filled with horror. You are only at the first level of the star domain realm? How do you possess such powerful pressure? The 8 of us are no match for you alone. You are not from the Milky Way galaxy. The Milky Way galaxy could not possibly produce such a terrifying powerhouse. The burly Secretary General in the luxurious sedan opened the door and gracefully stepped out. With a gentle wave of his hand, he dispelled the pressure from both sides. A profound and vast aura emanated from him, but he did not harm Xiao Ye or the Ancestral Queen, merely smiling politely. This must be the Ancestral Queen. Then, Your Excellency, may I ask which young master of the cosmic race you are? The Ancestral Queen felt a chill run down her spine under the Secretary General's gaze. Although the man was smiling, his smile carried a hidden dagger, his eyes concealing countless schemes. Xiao Ye said calmly, my origins are not for you to know. What brings you to the Milky Way? The noble secretary's pupils contracted, a sense of apprehension rising within him. This young man before him appeared remarkably young, not even 100 years old, yet his cultivation had reached the first level of the star domain realm. Moreover, he was an extremely powerful star domain realm cultivator, comparable to those among the prodigies on the universe's myriad races pride ranking. Such a person might be the young master of a major cosmic race, someone the Purple Star Emperor Star could not afford to offend. He clasped his hands in a respectful gesture and said, Your Excellency, I am the Secretary General of the Xie Ye Imperial Star. The Ancestral Empress has violated the laws of the beast hunting star field, and we are here to arrest her and take her to the Xie Ye Imperial Star for punishment. Please do not obstruct us, we are acting in accordance with the law. The Ancestral Empress glanced at Xiao Ye with surprise, then turned and said, Secretary General, isn't your intention to capture me and hand me over to your domain lord for his amusement? Let me tell you, you can forget about it. She moved closer to Xiao Ye, pressing her alluring body against him, her arms tightly embracing him, a hint of shyness appearing on her face, and said, I am already his. I am no longer a virgin. Xiao Ye was slightly startled. What was the Empress doing? The Secretary General glanced at the Ancestral Queen and shook his head, saying, Ancestral Queen, your face tells me you are still innocent. As for your relationship, I can't see through it. Your Excellency, please step aside. We must capture the Ancestral Queen and punish her. Xiao Ye's lips curled into a smile. He patted the Ancestral Queen's shoulder and said calmly, What if I don't let you pass? The Secretary General's face darkened. Don't let me pass? The 8 purple-skinned star domain realm experts immediately surrounded him. Don't let me pass? You're dead, kid. Secretary General, why should we be afraid of him? The aura on this person is clearly that of a human from the Milky Way. Yes, this aura unique to the ancestral planet of humans can only belong to humans from Blue Star. Humans of the great cosmic races have been separated from their ancestral planet for so many years, their unique auras have long since changed. The Secretary General's eyes flickered, his brows furrowing. Could he really be a human from Blue Star? But how could a Blue Star human reach the star domain realm before the age of 100? Wait. He waved his hand, and the 8 star domain realm experts stepped back. The Secretary General chuckled, We'll give you face and temporarily refrain from arresting the Primordial Queen. Let's go. He needed to investigate this human's origins before making any further plans. Xiao Ye, held tightly by the Primordial Queen, frowned as he watched them leave. They were gone already? Chapter 627 Human Emperor, I love you. Xiao Ye watched the disappearing figure, his mind racing. The Secretary General of the Purple Star Emperor Star Domain Lord of the Beast Hunting Star Domain? His cultivation level should be above the Star Domain realm, at the Sovereign Realm. The Sovereign Realm is more than 100 times stronger than the Star Domain realm, even he wouldn't dare say he could take down that Secretary General. What if the Secretary General returned? How would he deal with it? As he pondered this, Xiao Ye felt something was amiss. A tingling sensation spread across his chest, as if a small hand were caressing it. Looking down, he was dumbfounded. The Ancestral Empress was clinging to him, her pretty face slightly flushed, her small hand drawing circles on his chest. Her proud, bright eyes even held a hint of curiosity. Your Majesty, your chest is so strong and broad, she clicked her tongue. It would be very comfortable to sleep on as a pillow. Xiao Ye grabbed her soft, boneless hand and said speechlessly, Your Majesty, why have you become so improper? The threat from the Purple Star Emperor Star hasn't been resolved yet, And you're already thinking about this, like you're in heat. Get down. The ancestral empress pouted and reluctantly got down, secretly touching herself before doing so, chuckling to herself. She looked exactly like a lecherous woman. Xiao Ye said in a deep voice, "The Secretary General somehow let you go, but he will most likely come again. We need to find a way to deal with him." The ancestral empress's eyes darted around, full of cunning. "The Secretary General probably hesitated to arrest me immediately because he saw how young you were at the Star Domain realm and was wary of your background. Human Emperor, do you want me captured and made a plaything of the Purple Star Domain Lord? If you want that, I absolutely can." Xiao Ye shook his head. "You've sacrificed so much for the Milky Way and Blue Star. You're an empress, how can you become a plaything? Of course I don't want that. Sigh, aren't you worried? They're so powerful. If the Secretary General fails, even more powerful beings will come to capture you." The ancestral empress chuckled. "Human Emperor, isn't the Domain Lord just interested in me because I'm a virgin? I have a way to thwart the Domain Lord's covetousness." Xiao Ye's eyes lit up. "A virgin? Actually, I have a way. It'll definitely work." The ancestral empress was overjoyed, her pretty face flushed, and she lowered her head shyly. "What way? I'll do anything." The human emperor must have feelings for her. Otherwise, he wouldn't have thought of this. Xiao Ye glanced at the alluring ancestral empress and blurted out, "Why don't you just change your gender? After you change your gender, we'll be brothers. Once we've cultivated and grown stronger, we'll conquer the Xie Ye Imperial Star together. The Milky Way belongs to the Beast Hunting Star Domain, so it can also be an Imperial Star Domain. After conquering the Xie Ye Imperial Star, Blue Star will be the Imperial Star of the Beast Hunting Star Domain. I'll be the Domain Lord, and you'll be the Secretary General." He became increasingly excited, finding the idea highly feasible, his eyes practically glowing. The ancestral empress's face darkened, her lips twitching. She retorted, "What kind of inhuman method is this? The ancestral empress, have always been female, and will always be female. It's impossible for me to change my gender to male. Besides, while gods don't care so much about their bodies, once they've condensed, many things are unchangeable. They can't change their gender like ordinary humans." She was utterly speechless. A dignified human emperor, coming up with such a low-level method. Xiao Ye said with a troubled expression, "All right, if you don't want to, then forget it." "Then you said you have a solution, what is it?" The ancestral queen's face flushed again, a shy look appearing in her eyes. She poked Xiao Ye's arm with her finger. She said coyly, "I'll just become a woman. That Domain Lord is, after all, the supreme ruler of the beast hunting starfield. He must have his own pride. If I become a woman, do you think he will still be interested in me?" Xiao Ye nodded, finding it quite reasonable. That Domain Lord, high above, controlling everything, is the supreme ruler of the beast hunting starfield. He shouldn't be like that traitor Xiao in his previous life, who only liked women, right? The ancestral queen looked overjoyed. The human emperor's nod meant he agreed. As long as the human emperor did something to her, she could rightfully become his wife. Xiao Ye glanced at the primordial queen's haughty and unparalleled face. "Your Majesty, do you have someone you like? Which god do you like? Go and find him. I'll be the matchmaker, the witness, and we'll tie the knot." The primordial queen's face fell, her teeth clenched, her eyes practically spitting fire. "Human Emperor, I made it so obvious, yet you didn't see what I meant. You're such a blockhead, so single-minded. How did you manage to subdue so many beast girls? You can't even see that." She grinned at her teeth, scoffing, "On Blue Star, what god could I possibly want? None of them are as good as me. Fine, I'll just marry any god and become a woman." "Human Emperor, are you really going to be our matchmaker?" Xiao Ye said with a hint of regret, "You really want to marry a god? Fine, whatever you want." He turned away, muttering under his breath, "I was hoping the Empress would marry me, but she didn't say she liked me, so forget it." True, how could a battle maniac like the Empress possibly like a man? A god like that should be lonely for life. Hearing his earlier words, the ancestral Empress felt a pang of despair. The human emperor actually wanted her to marry another god. This meant that the human emperor had absolutely no interest in her. Sigh, was she not pretty enough? Not beautiful 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 enough? She didn't meet the human emperor's standards. But when she heard Xiao Ye's whispered words, her entire body trembled. The despair in her heart vanished instantly, replaced by boundless joy and excitement. She opened her arms, lunged forward, pressed herself against Xiao Ye, and hugged him tightly, excitedly saying, "Human Emperor, I knew it. You definitely had feelings for me. I won't go looking for other gods anymore, I'll just marry you. You don't need to be a matchmaker, just marry me directly. I love you." Xiao Ye was momentarily stunned. The Empress actually loved him, it wasn't his imagination. Good heavens, this was the primordial Empress. He took a long time to recover, then said, "Your Majesty, I have many beast girls, are you serious?" The primordial queen nodded firmly, more real than real gold. Xiao Ye felt a slight surge of secret joy. His expression remained calm as he smiled. "Then let's form a contract. After your body is modified, you can form contracts, like humans, young boys and girls forming contracts to transform into ferocious beasts together. However, gods are genderless, primordial controllers. For us humans, forming a contract means marriage." The primordial queen knew this. In the last reincarnation, the god had formed a contract with a human emperor. She happily replied, "No problem." Chapter 628 Forming a Contract with the Empress. Xiao Ye opened the golden portal, and the primordial Empress quietly took his hand, leading them into the Hall of Time and Space. They arrived at the villa of the God of Destiny and summoned Gu Qingcheng and the God of Destiny. Seeing the two behaving intimately, the God of Destiny understood and smiled. "Husband, primordial Empress, are you two together?" Gu Qingcheng was astonished. Xiao Ye nodded, slightly embarrassed, and said, "Destiny, Sister Qingcheng, to deal with the crisis in the beast hunting starfield, I plan to form a contract with the Empress and become husband and wife. Moreover, the Empress likes me. She said she will marry no one but me in this lifetime. As you know, I'm a helpful person and can't bear to see others lonely their whole lives. I've been very kind and plan to marry the Empress." The primordial Empress and Gu Qingcheng were stunned. The deity chuckled, rolled her eyes, and said speechlessly, "Husband, do you think we believe that? You're just after the Empress's body. Let's make a contract then. As long as you're willing, we won't stop you, nor will we reject the ancestral Empress." The ancestral Empress was overjoyed, exclaiming in surprise, "Destiny, Gu Qingcheng, you agree to me being with a human emperor? Thank you so much. You're so generous." Gu Qingcheng smiled, "I have no objections. Old Gu told me before that you are also my husband's lover, and I can accept that. But our agreement isn't enough. If you want to marry my husband, Bixi must agree." The deity teased, "Husband, have you told Bixi about this?" Xiao Ye looked embarrassed and waved his hand. How could he dare tell Chang Bixi? The ancestral Empress asked suspiciously, "Bixi? That ordinary-looking but beautiful young woman, Chang Bixi? Human Emperor, are you afraid of your wife?" Xiao Ye blushed, "Ahem, things are urgent right now, I haven't had time to tell Bixi yet. Otherwise, when those people from the beast hunting starfield arrive, they'll take the Empress away and give her to that domain lord to play with. Alright, I'll explain to Bixi. Now, you two act as witnesses, the Empress and I are going to conclude a contract. The beast hunting starfield Secretary General and his group will most likely come again, he must quickly take countermeasures." The Goddess of Destiny gave a thumbs up, whether sarcastic or complimentary. "Husband, you're really something, you didn't even tell your elder sister before taking in a new female deity. I hope your elder sister won't skin you alive when she finds out. Your elder sister's current realm is the star domain realm, higher than all of us older generation. If she does anything, we can't protect you." The ancestral Empress was somewhat moved. The human emperor had actually silently shouldered everything for her. She said gratefully, "Human Emperor, I will go with you to explain the situation to my elder sister. Let's form a contract." "Okay." Xiao Ye immediately activated the chain of rules for forming a contract. Seeing this, the ancestral Empress also initiated a contract formation. A mysterious golden chain emerged from their bodies, touching and merging together. In an instant, a special connection and resonance arose in their hearts. The contract was complete. The ancestral Empress was extremely excited. Finally, she had become the human emperor's wife. She led Xiao Ye into the villa next door, into the bedroom, and pushed him down. The god of destiny and Gu Qingchang stood outside the door with complex expressions. Husband, you are truly brave. Hopefully, he has figured out how to tell Binxi. Meanwhile, in a corner of the Milky Way, a 9-headed dragon pulled a car, hovering in the starry sky. The Secretary General's face darkened. He said, the ancestral empress is the woman the domain lord has his eye on. He's repeatedly emphasized that we must bring her back. We need to think of a way. We can't go back empty-handed, or we'll definitely be punished by the domain lord. The purple class leader respectfully said, Secretary General, the aura on that human boy is indeed pure ancestral star human aura. Only humans born and raised on the ancestral star can possess this aura. Such a person couldn't possibly have a powerful background. The Secretary General frowned. Then what about his cultivation level? 100-year-old prodigy at the star domain realm? That's rare even among the major cosmic races. The purple-clad leader suggested, Secretary General, I'll go to the human ancestral star to investigate that boy and see if he's had any contact with any major cosmic races. If he has, he'll definitely leave behind the aura of a major cosmic race, I can sense it. If he doesn't have the aura of a major cosmic race, that boy probably had some extraordinary encounter. After all, Blue Star is humanity's ancestral star, it's normal for them to have some special encounters. The Secretary General's brow relaxed, and he waved his hand. Then go ahead. Investigate that kid's information as thoroughly as possible. Remember, never reveal your aura. The purple-clad captain bowed. Yes, sir. He vanished in a flash, heading towards Blue Star. The other 7 purple-clad beings exchanged glances. Secretary General, what should we do? How about we all go to Blue Star to investigate that human kid? Yes, more people means more power, and the investigation will be faster. The Secretary General snorted. We'll just stay here and wait for your captain. Your captain is at least at the peak of the star domain realm. Investigating someone's information is a piece of cake for him. He was troubled. The ancestral empress was not just a plaything to the domain lord. He happened to know the domain lord's secrets about capturing the ancestral empress. The domain lord was also a cosmic cultivator of the space origin, having reached the perfect state of the dominator realm, just one step away from entering the Star River realm. The domain lord had accidentally obtained a dual cultivation secret technique. As long as he practiced dual cultivation, he could advance in realms, as if he had a cheat code. However, the other party in a dual cultivation relationship must also be a powerful being of the same attribute. The primordial empress happens to be at the space origin emperor realm, about to break through to the star domain realm. The domain lord plans to cultivate her to the sovereign realm, and then they can cultivate together and grow stronger together. The domain lord also specifically stated that the primordial empress must be a virgin. The Secretary General sighed. The relationship between that human boy and the primordial empress is somewhat unusual. What if the primordial empress loses her virginity? Time slowly passed, and 10 minutes went by. The captain of the purple creatures returned, excitedly saying, Secretary General, I found all the information about that boy. I'll transmit it to you right away. He waved his hand, and a beam of purple light shot out, leaping onto the Secretary General's hand. After checking it and finding no problems, the Secretary General used his divine sense to read the information. Xiao Ye, born an orphan at the Sunshine Welfare Institute, was raised by the old director who died last year. Last year, Xiao Ye awakened his SSS-Level Beast Tamer talent and successively signed contracts with beast girls such as Cheng Bingxi, Nanguang Xiao, and Liu Yang. In just 1 year, he's reached the star domain realm. The Secretary General was astonished. He really is a native of Blue Star. He broke through to the star domain realm in just 1 year. What kind of freak is that? He was deeply shocked, taking several deep breaths. After a long while, he calmed down and asked, Did you find any trace of the major cosmic races on Blue Star? The purple-clad creature captain shook his head. No. There's no trace or aura of any major cosmic races on the entire Blue Star. I'm certain that the kid must have had some kind of extraordinary encounter to break through to the star domain realm in such a short time. Chapter 629 Empress, Human Emperor, I will definitely defeat you next time. Meanwhile, inside the Hall of Time and Space, 8 hours had passed, 16 hours in total. The battle between Xiao Ye and the primordial empress had ended. Xiao Ye walked out of the villa with his head held high, followed by the primordial empress, whose legs were weak and whose steps were trembling. Damn it, The Primordial Empress, have never been defeated in my life, but this time I was defeated so thoroughly, without any power to resist. The Primordial Empress's cheeks flushed red as she recalled how she had begged for mercy just moments before. The human emperor was truly powerful. She had been at a disadvantage the entire time. She didn't know any special techniques, so her fighting style was somewhat reckless, but this did not give her an advantage. She had been defeated time and time again, and every time the human emperor had won. But she was unwilling to accept it, and in the end, the human emperor still managed to subdue her. The god of destiny and Gu Qingcheng were still waiting outside the villa, both somewhat astonished. In their minds, the Primordial Empress was a very high-level being, but now, she was actually walking out while leaning against the wall. In contrast, her husband, Xiao Ye, stood tall and straight, full of energy, walking with a steady and powerful gait. He exuded the arrogance of a triumphant return. The ancestral empress, seeing the two women, looked somewhat embarrassed. How embarrassing. Someone had actually seen her like this. Her image as the ancestral empress was likely to crumble. The god of destiny and Gu Qingcheng went to support the ancestral empress, chuckling, "Your Majesty, don't be shy. Your husband is at the star domain realm, his cultivation and physique are dozens of times higher than yours. It's normal that you can't beat him." "Yes, we can't beat him either. To defeat him in this kind of battle, you must catch up to him in cultivation." Upon hearing this, the ancestral empress straightened up abruptly, her bright eyes blazing with a dazzling light. She placed one hand on her hip, pointed at Xiao Ye with the other, and declared with fierce fighting spirit, "Human Emperor, I challenge you to a duel. In the next battle, I will definitely defeat you, crush you completely." Xiao Ye was dumbfounded. "Seriously? Empress, you must fight to the death." But the Empress was already his wife, so he acquiesced. "All right, my Empress wife, you can come and fight me anytime. But that's not urgent. Our priority is to resolve the matter of the Secretary General of the Beast Hunting Starfield. You are now my deity, and I must tell you that you must not have any physical, mental, or behavioral relationships with other men. I have a great deal of fastidiousness in this regard, one act of infidelity, and you're forever unfaithful." The ancestral empress listened attentively and nodded. Then, Xiao Ye led the ancestral empress out of the time-space hall and into the Wild Plains base city. The moment they appeared, they sensed a massive divine sense locking onto them. Their expressions changed, and they immediately rushed towards the source of the divine sense, arriving in a starry sky within the Milky Way. There, in the starry sky, was the Secretary General and his group of aliens. "Greetings, Your Excellency," the Secretary General greeted politely. Xiao Ye waved his hand. "Get to the point." He knew the Secretary General above the Star Domain realm wouldn't leave so easily. He'd been locked onto the moment he stepped out. The Secretary General smiled and said, "Xiao Ye, I see you have extraordinary talent and your cultivation is progressing rapidly. I've come to you this time to recruit you into our Xie Ye Emperor Star, to become a member of our Xie Ye Emperor Star's Hall of Prodigies. With your combat strength, you'll definitely be able to crush the younger generation of the Hall of Prodigies, and even catch up with the older generation of prodigies. Joining our Xie Ye Emperor Star and working for us will grant you access to cultivation resources, direct access to all cultivation resources for the Sovereign Realm, and various connections. Of course, you're only allowed to complete a few tasks, otherwise, we won't restrict your freedom. What do you think?" Xiao Ye's expression remained calm as he quietly looked at the Secretary General. The offered conditions were tempting, but he couldn't possibly accept them. He was bound by favors, and if he went, he would be subject to various restrictions. It was nothing like the carefree life on Blue Star. But if they want to capture the first queen and take her back, Xiao Ye is probably no match for her. So he said, "Give me 3 days to consider. I will give you an answer in 3 days." The Secretary General clasped his hands in a respectful gesture. "All right, then I'll give you 3 days to consider. We will come to the Milky Way again in 3 days." The 8 purple beings gasped, exclaiming in surprise, "If this kid joins our Hall of Prodigies, he might be able to rival the former God of War, Hong." God of War Hong was once the undisputed leader of the Hall of Prodigies, dominating all the prodigies in the beast hunting starfield for hundreds of thousands of years. He also entered the top 10,000 on the Starry Sky Prodigies ranking of the myriad races, reaching the height of 9,999th. The current God of War Hong is the #1 fighter in our beast hunting starfield, the Starfield God of War, whose status is second only to the Domain Lord. In fact, the Domain Lord has to listen to him on many matters. No, this kid can fight against 8 of us at the 10th level of the Starfield Realm with only the first level of Starfield Realm Divine Sense, and even gain the upper hand. A prodigy of this level is probably much more terrifying than God of War Hong. As long as he joins our Xiao Ye Emperor Star and receives intensive training, he will definitely be the next Hong the God of War. War God Xiao, how many places will you rank on the Starry Sky Prodigy ranking of the myriad races? 9,000, or 8,000? After discussing this, the purple-clad beings looked at Xiao Ye with respect. Even the Secretary General's gaze towards Xiao Ye carried a hint of flattery. This kid, as long as he doesn't perish, will be an even more terrifying existence than Hong the God of War in the future. At 19 years old, at the Star Domain Realm, his talent is 10,000 times better than Hong the God of War. When Hong the God of War advanced to the Star Domain Realm, he was already close to 100,000 years old. Xiao Ye sensed the change in their gazes. He stood with his hands behind his back, chest puffed out, a faint smile on his lips. The Ancestral Empress secretly clicked her tongue, her beautiful eyes gleaming with pride. The human emperor has earned the respect of the Secretary General and the others with his talent. A fully fledged mythical level talent certainly qualifies him. Among the myriad races of the starry sky, even mythical level talents can only be possessed by direct descendants of major star level races. Those with talents reaching the maximum mythical level are comparable to the supreme patriarchs of those races. Haha, this is her husband, the human emperor of Blue Star, the force of the universe. But just then, a purple being pointed at the face of the primordial empress, exclaiming in surprise, "Secretary General, look at her face. It seems she has just undergone the transformation from a young girl to a young woman, losing her virginity." The other 7 purple beings were shocked. They had captured the primordial empress to offer her as a maid to the Domain Lord. Now that the primordial empress had lost her virginity, she had lost her qualification to be the Domain Lord's maid. Would their mission in the Milky Way have failed? What? The Secretary General's expression changed drastically. The elegant smile he had maintained instantly collapsed, replaced by an ugly expression as if he had eaten shit. Chapter 630 The ugly daughter-in-law meets her in-laws. He carefully examined the Ancestral Empress's face, his heart sinking. Her appearance clearly indicated she had lost her virginity and become a young woman. The Secretary General frowned, his gaze shifting between Xiao Ye and the Ancestral Empress, anger rising within him. The Ancestral Empress was the Domain Lord's chosen woman, extremely important to him, yet things had escalated to this point. Xiao Ye was furious. "You're all staring at my wife. Don't I have any dignity?" He stepped forward, blocking the Ancestral Queen's path, and said in a suppressed voice, "Why aren't you leaving yet? I said I'd give you an answer in 3 days. Ancestral Queen, you can forget about taking her away. She's my wife." The Ancestral Queen echoed, "Give up on that idea. I won't go with you. I belong to Xiao Ye in life and in death." The captain of the purple-clad creature transmitted his voice, "Secretary General, should we forcibly take them both back?" The Secretary General pondered for a few seconds before speaking. "Things have come to this. We will report the truth to the Domain Lord. Xiao Ye, we hope you will join a beast-hunting star domain, otherwise you two will be in danger. We have no grudge against each other, and I won't make things so ugly. That's all I have to say. Whether you can protect the Ancestral Queen is up to you. Let's go." He waved his hand and stepped into the carriage pulled by the 9-headed dragon. The dragon roared and pulled the carriage into the depths of space. The 8 purple beings accompanying him formed a formidable and imposing group. The Ancestral Queen frowned, saying, "Human Emperor, I broke through my physical form to avert this crisis, but you've become entangled in it. In the end, we still have to face the wrath of the beast-hunting starfield. That Domain Lord, does he value me that much?" Xiao Ye shrugged and smiled. "We have 3 days left. 3 days is enough for us to advance a major realm. I wonder what realm the Domain Lord is at." Joining the beast-hunting starfield was unnecessary. He didn't need to join any faction. With a time-space hall at his disposal, his safety wouldn't be a problem. Becoming powerful was just a matter of time. But time? It seemed insignificant before the time-space hall. His greatest asset was time. Xiao Ye's Starfield Realm Divine Sense swept out, instantly covering the entire Milky Way. He didn't find the Secretary General in his group. They had already left. Xiao Ye, holding the Ancestral Queen's hand, immediately used his divine sense to send messages to all the beast girls. Major crisis. All beast girls and gods gather at the Hall of Time and Space. After sending the message, he entered the Hall of Time and Space through the golden portal. He arrived at the center of the villa complex in the center of the Hall of Time and Space's vast world, in the Grand Hall. The God of Destiny and Gu Qingcheng arrived quickly. The two looked surprised. "Husband, what happened that you had to summon all of us?" Xiao Ye smiled and said, "We'll discuss it after all the beast girls and gods arrive." The ancestral empress suddenly became a little nervous. She was about to see all the beast girls, especially the human emperor's empress, Cheng Bingxi. Like an ugly daughter-in-law about to meet her in-laws, she became nervous and uneasy. Moreover, this crisis was caused by her. If she hadn't married the human emperor, this crisis wouldn't have involved the others. Therefore, the ancestral empress, who was usually the commander-in-chief of the Starry Sky battlefield, became like an ordinary person at this moment. Gu Qingcheng teased, "Husband, you probably can't handle Sister Bingxi alone. If you summon all the beast girls and gods at once, won't you get torn to shreds? So many beast girls will be jealous, you'd better be prepared." The deity also had a look of schadenfreude, somewhat gleeful. Xiao Ye stood straight, exuding an aura of dominance, his eyes resolute and fearless, calmly saying, "What do I have to fear? It's just Cheng Bingxi, it's just all the beast girls. I'll suppress them all. They're not convinced? I'll beat them until they are, then crush them beneath me." The ancestral queen's eyes filled with emotion. The human emperor was too good to her, actually wanting to defy all opposition and bear everything for her alone. The deity and Gu Qingcheng suddenly widened their eyes, pointing behind Xiao Ye. While Xiao Ye was speaking, Cheng Bingxi, Nanguang Xiao, Mu Qingsu, and Liu Yao had already entered. Their faces, initially showing some anxiety, darkened upon hearing Xiao Ye's words, their eyes sharpening as they surrounded him with grim expressions. Xiao Ye, bewildered, stammered, Bingxi, Xiao, what are you doing?" Cheng Bingxi, Nanguang Xiao, Mu Qingsu, and Liu Yao clenched their fists, their voices menacing. "Xiao Ye, what did you just say? Say it again if you dare." "Xiao Ye, we're all at the Star Domain realm, you can't beat so many of us." "Xiao Ye, are you really going to fight us all by yourself?" Xiao Ye chuckled, shook his head violently, and said seriously, "What did I say? I can't remember. Who wants to hit you? Tell me, I'll be the first to object. HMPH, daring to have designs on my wife, I'll beat him to death." The God of Destiny and Gu Qingcheng burst into laughter. The primordial empress was dumbfounded. What? The human emperor has such a humorous side? But, wasn't the human emperor just going to take all the blame for me? All that emotion for nothing. Cheng Bingxi, Nanguang Xiao, Liu Yan, and Mu Qingsu launched their attacks simultaneously, their small hands twisting Xiao Ye's waist flesh in a 360-degree twist. They all sneered, "Xiao Ye, you've gone too far. You're pinning us down and ravaging us. Why aren't you ready to fight back? Afraid your body isn't strong enough and you'll be ganged up on and drained? HMPH, we're all at the Star Domain realm, we're not going to back down." Xiao Ye gasped in pain, waving his hand and saying, "All right, everyone's here, right? I have important things to say. We can talk about the fighting and exercise later." Cheng Bingxi, Nanguang Xiao, Liu Yan, and Mu Qingsu withdrew their hands. At this moment, the other beast girls and gods also arrived. Huangfu Xiangling, Yunbing, Yunzai, Ziran, Qinzir, and the reincarnation god. Adding the deity of destiny, Gu Qingcheng, and the primordial empress, there are 13 in total. As for the starry sky beast Zhang Zunu, she's guarding the gate at the main hall entrance. Cheng Bingxi sat in the main seat of the hall, her eyes constantly scanning the primordial empress, then shifting back and forth between the primordial empress and Xiao Ye. The other beast girls and deities sat on the side seats in the hall, their eyes fixed intently on Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye chuckled, took the primordial empress's hand, walked to Cheng Bingxi, and said gently, "Bingxi, your meeting said I wasn't allowed to take in any new beast girls. I didn't violate your rules, so I took in a new deity. Oh no, two deities. The reincarnation deity and the primordial empress." He beckoned, and the reincarnation deity came to Cheng Bingxi's side. Xiao Ye pointed to the reincarnation goddess and the primordial empress, saying, "I took the reincarnation goddess under my command so that she could accelerate her cultivation and reach the star domain realm to help the obsessive body, Sister Qingcheng, who is now the Destiny Goddess, regain her memories. Cheng Bingxi nodded. I know about the reincarnation goddess, everyone knows. Her voice suddenly turned cold, and she retorted sharply, what about the primordial empress? The atmosphere instantly became tense. Chapter 631 A Battleground. All the Beast Girls present stared at Xiao Ye with sinister intent, their eyes like knives. If looks could kill, Xiao Ye would probably be riddled with arrows, impaled by a dense rain of arrows. Xiao Ye chuckled, Bixi, my wives, the primordial empress has been targeted by the lord of the beast hunting starfield. He wants to kidnap her and keep her as a plaything. I only got together with the primordial empress to dispel the lord's covetousness, allowing her to transform and grow into a young woman. That way, the lord will give up on the primordial empress. Cheng Bingxi, however, was unmoved. Her already gloomy face darkened further. She said, taking advantage of someone in distress, Xiao Ye, you're taking advantage of someone in distress. When did you become like this? The other Beast Girls chimed in, Xiao Ye, you didn't even tell us you were taking in a new goddess, and you're taking advantage of us in distress? You've changed. Being together should be based on mutual affection and consent, but what about you? Sigh. Men really do change, becoming increasingly difficult to satisfy, fickle and easily bored. I haven't even had sex with you for 2 months. We have to wait in line to be affectionate with you. With the addition of the primordial empress, our importance in your heart is dwindling. As they spoke, some even wiped away tears, looking as if they'd been betrayed by scumbags. Xiao Ye's heart felt a pang, a tightness in his chest. At this moment, the ancestral empress spoke, focusing her gaze on them, and clasped her hands in a fist salute, saying, Madam, it was I who fell for the human emperor and seduced him. He is upright, of pure character, and still the same human emperor you knew before. He hasn't changed his heart. Please don't blame him. Ladies and sisters, if you don't like me, I can immediately withdraw, break my contract with a human emperor, and go alone to the main star system of the beast hunting starfield to become the domain lord's plaything. I promise I will never appear before you again and will have no connection with a human emperor whatsoever. She felt a bitter taste in her mouth. This crisis was originally caused by her, so it was understandable that Xiao Ye's Beast Girls rejected her. But she wasn't one to shy away from trouble and would take responsibility. Cheng Bingxi slammed her small hand on the armrest of the dragon crystal chair, a dull thud echoing through the ears of everyone present. The expressions of all the Beast Girls present changed, but I understand you were only trying to protect Xiao Ye, and didn't truly want to become that domain lord's plaything. It was just talk. So I won't punish you. Otherwise, Xiao Ye wouldn't need to clean house, I would have eliminated you for him. Xiao Ye and the ancestral empress were overjoyed. Cheng Bingxi had agreed to their relationship. The ancestral empress bowed gratefully, saying, Elder sister, thank you so much. Please rest assured, I will not betray our duty as women. Whether physically, emotionally, spiritually, or in action, I will never betray Xiao Ye. I swear on my soul. Otherwise, may I not enter reincarnation. And may my soul perish. Cheng Bingxi nodded, her elder sisterly authority radiating from her, enveloping the entire area. Looking at all the beast girls and deities around him, he said coldly, You two. Let me make this clear beforehand, if anyone in our inner palace violates the rules or betrays Xiao Ye, I will personally eliminate them. Don't think that breaking the contract will solve everything. If you betray Xiao Ye, no matter how good or intimate your relationship with him was, I will eliminate you. Don't say I'm cold-hearted then. The beast girls nodded in agreement. None of them panicked or worried. Because they had never intended to betray Xiao Ye, and they would never betray him in the future. In life, they were members of the Xiao family. In death, they were souls of the Xiao family. Xiao Ye was deeply moved. Cheng Bingxi not only didn't blame him, but also protected him and thought of him. Where could he find such a good wife? Oh, this kind of good wife was his. Not only Cheng Bingxi, but every beast girl was a good wife. Cheng Bingxi smiled warmly, walked over, took the ancestral queen's hand, and said with a smile, Ancestral queen, from now on we're family. Your affairs are our affairs. That domain lord covets you, we must eliminate him to prevent future troubles. Many beast girls echoed, yes, eliminate the domain lord to prevent future troubles. Prevent future troubles. Yay, kill him. Roar, chop him into 8 pieces, tear him apart. I think it's better to cut him with a woodcutter's axe. The last sentence was spoken by the god of destiny. The ancestral queen was deeply moved. As a god, she had only felt warmth from her sister, the time empress, but at this moment, she had a family, and felt the warmth of family for the second time. Her eyes were red-rimmed as she said gratefully, thank you so much, thank you for thinking of me. Cheng Bingxi smiled and said, we're all sisters, saying thank you is too formal. Don't say that again. Ahem. Xiao Ye spoke up, since everyone accepts the ancestral queen, let me say a few words. Cheng Bingxi's face turned cold, and she said, shut up. You exploited loopholes in our rules, and we're angry. You haven't apologized or asked for our forgiveness yet. Xiao Ye smiled awkwardly. He did feel guilty towards these beast girls for not spending enough time with him. The ancestral queen smiled and said, elder sister, the human emperor summoned everyone this time because we encountered a crisis. She briefly explained the situation, letting everyone know the cause and effect. Upon hearing this, the many beast girls were enraged, shouting, that domain lord has gone too far. He wants to capture you and toy with you on trumped-up charges. He's bullying the gods. That's right. We must rise up and destroy the domain lord, so he'll know the consequences of offending us. I think it's best to use a woodcutter's knife to kill the domain lord. Cheng Bingxi looked at the person who mentioned the woodcutter's knife, the god of destiny, and her eyes lit up. She asked, Destiny, you are the reincarnation of Gu Qingcheng, the embodiment of obsession, and you retain memories of the next 100 years. What do you think we should do to deal with the people of Xiao Ye Emperor Star? Xiao Ye's gaze also turned to them. The god of destiny's advice was very important. Chapter 632 Rapid Advancement, reaching the Dominator Realm within 3 days. The deity of destiny stood up and said, the Lord of the Purple Star Emperor domain is a being of the primordial universe. His realm is the 10th level of the Sovereign Realm, just one step away from entering the Star River Realm. His aptitude doesn't seem to have reached the mythical level yet. Is it SSS level top tier or quasi-mythical level? If we want to encircle and annihilate him, our realm must at least advance to the Sovereign Realm. The many beast girls listened intently. Xiao Ye nodded in agreement from time to time. The ancestral empress agreed, we all possess mythical level talent, our combat power at the same realm is hundreds of times higher than that of quasi-mythical level cultivators. If we could all advance to the Sovereign Realm, killing that domain lord would be as easy as slaughtering a chicken. The problem is we lack sufficient cultivation resources and time. Xiao Ye smiled, we have plenty of time. The time spent in the time-space hall is 280,000 years to 1 day on Blue Star. As for cultivation resources, you should first try awakening the various attribute rules of the Sovereign Realm, directly extracting the power of origin for cultivation, using rare and precious materials for cultivation, and trying to cultivate with a rule power or origin power extracted from those materials. That effect is definitely not as fast as directly extracting the origin power from the corresponding rule origin itself. Advancing one minor stage in the Star Domain Realm to the mythical level requires 30,000 years. The Star Domain Realm is divided into 10 stages. Reaching the 10th stage requires 300,000 years, and advancing one stage from the Star Domain Realm to the Sovereign Realm requires another 300,000 years, totaling approximately 600,000 years. The Purple Star Emperor Star has given him 3 days. 3 days on Blue Star, and the Time-Space Palace is equivalent to 3 280,000-year periods, totaling 840,000 years, far exceeding 600,000 years. Therefore, it's not a pipe dream for all the beast girls and gods present to advance to the Sovereign Realm within 3 days on Blue Star, it's achievable. The God of Destiny continued, that domain lord must die. He captured the Empress's sister for dual cultivation, thereby rapidly increasing his realm. What? All the beast girls present were shocked. Dual cultivation to increase realm? Such a heretical path, how could a domain lord of a star domain actually do it? That master must die, let's kill her together. He really has ill intentions, thinking our Blue Star is weak and easy to bully, huh? Everyone was furious and condemned him. The ancestral empress shivered and quietly grasped Xiao Ye's hand. Cheng Bingxi said, alright, let's proceed according to plan. First, awaken the original source of the rules in the Sovereign Realm, and then each of you should raise your cultivation to the Sovereign Realm before returning here together. Xiao Ye, you are the master of this great world. You must help each of your sisters awaken their original source of rules in turn. Don't even think about slacking off. Xiao Ye patted his chest. I will assist all my wives. It just so happens that I haven't spent time with you all in a long time. I'll spend these 840,000 years with you in the time-space hall. One by one, no one will be left behind. Cheng Bingxi nodded and waved her hand. Everyone, let's go. All the beast girls stood up, their eyes lingering on Xiao Ye for a few seconds before they nodded and immediately set off. Xiao Ye sensed the resentment in the beast girl's eyes. It seemed he needed to spend more time with him. Half a minute later, only Yun Bing, Yun Zai, and the ancestral empress remained. These three were all special attribute cultivators. Xiao Ye laughed. None of us are gods, so we don't need to control an entire special origin. We only need to extract its power for cultivation. The level of the time-space palace is much higher than you imagine, so don't worry about running out of special origin power. He closed his eyes, sensing the entire super world of the time-space palace. The time-space palace world had expanded tens of millions of times in size, probably comparable to the size of the beast hunting star field. As the master of this world, he could sense all existence within it and quickly found the special rule origin of the sovereign realm. Empress, Sister Yunbing, Sister Yangxi, we've found it, let's go. He waved his hand, and the four of them disappeared. When they reappeared, they were in a void within the super world. Gazing at the empty void, the ancestral empress, Yunbing, and Yangxi could see nothing and sense nothing. Xiao Ye, is there really a sovereign realm special rule origin body here? I can sense the origin body of a star domain realm cultivator, but not a sovereign realm cultivator. One must reach the high-level star domain realm. It's right here, still dormant, not yet awakened. Xiao Ye's thoughts stirred. Hidden in the void, the sovereign realm special origin body manifested. It was a massive origin body spanning the heavens, vast and profound. The ancestral queen was shocked. This is a sovereign realm special origin body? This level of origin power is more than 10,000 times higher than Blue Star's special origin body. Just a wisp of special origin power is comparable to Blue Star's entire special origin body. Xiao Ye nodded. Blue Star's special origin body was at the Emperor Realm, above the Emperor Realm was the Star Domain Realm, and above the Star Domain Realm was the Sovereign Realm. This spatial origin body was a top-tier Sovereign Realm special origin body, 2 whole major levels higher than Blue Star's. Naturally, the two couldn't be compared. Try to awaken it. All the primordial power of the dormant entity is contracted and sealed within. Only after awakening will the primordial power illuminate the entire great world, allowing you to easily extract it. As for safety, don't worry. When I granted you free access to the time-space hall, I also included the protection of the core of this great world. Whether you are outside or inside the time-space hall, your safety is protected by the highest core of the time-space hall. Even if the primordial entity at the level of the cosmic great Dao goes berserk, you will not suffer the slightest damage, not even a hair will be lost. As he spoke, the ancestral empress, Yun Bing, and Yun Zai began attempting to awaken a sovereign realm special primordial entity. Suddenly, with a boom, the seemingly ordinary primordial entity burst forth with a dazzling 7-colored light. Like withered weeds suddenly turning lush and vibrant, the primordial entity emitted an extremely dense power of special rules and primordial power. This power of rules and primordial power illuminated the entire super great world, strengthening its space tens of thousands of times. The three women, the primordial empress, Yun Bing, and Yun Zai, were bathed in the power of special origin, their bodies undergoing a baptism. Ugh, I'm so full. Ugh, I feel so bloated, like I'm about to explode. Oh no, I can't take it anymore. This is too rough. Xiao Ye chuckled beside them, unconcerned. Protected by the highest core of the time-space palace, they would be fine. Sure enough, several gentle streams of power shot out from the void and merged into the three women's bodies. The violent special origin power within them softened, absorbing like a docile kitten. The three women's auras rapidly strengthened. The primordial empress, with a resounding boom, broke through to the star domain realm in a matter of milliseconds. Overjoyed, her face beamed with delight. The bottleneck she hadn't broken through for 150,000 years had actually been overcome in an instant. She was so happy. PFFT. She leaned in and planted a kiss on Xiao Ye's cheek, exclaiming joyfully, "Human Emperor, I finally reached the star domain realm." Xiao Ye immediately grabbed her head and started nibbling at it for 10 minutes. The primordial empress struggled before letting go. "I'm going to cultivate now, Human Emperor," she said, rolling her eyes. Xiao Ye nodded with a smile. Seeing the three women officially begin their cultivation, Xiao Ye disappeared to help the other beast girls awaken their rule origin true forms at the sovereign realm. Chapter 633 Fully Awaken the Origin of Rules. In a massive mountain range in the southern part of the superworld, Nangguang Xiao, a young woman with twin ponytails and branches laden with fruit, looked bewildered and murmured, "Oh no, where am I? How do I get back? Why, I didn't find my sovereign realm origin body, and now I've lost myself. How stupid of me." She had left the super hall and was traversing the void at full speed, completely disoriented. Now, she didn't even know where she was. Nangguang Xiao stared blankly at the sky for a while, then panicked. Am I going to get lost here for hundreds of thousands of years? That would be terrible. HMPH, that damn Xiao Ye, that stinky Xiao Ye, he's forgotten his old love now that he's married. How long has it been since he spent time with me? She stomped her feet repeatedly, causing the ground to cave in for thousands of meters. At that moment, a magnetic male voice came from beside her. "Xiao, what are you doing, practicing your stomping technique?" Nangguang Xiao turned her head sharply and found an excessively handsome young man standing beside her, smiling at her. With a thump, she threw herself into the boy's arms, her little fists pounding against him. "Xiao Ye, you're so mean. You actually teased me. This world is too big. I'm lost. I can't find my way back," she said matter-of-factly. Xiao Ye looked down and nodded. "It is indeed big. The world map is huge, and yours is huge too?" "Me too?" Nangguang Xiao stared blankly, then looked down, her pretty face instantly turning red. She huffed, "Xiao Ye, you still teased me. I'm going to punish you." Anyway, there are only a few of us in this big world. It's not too much to have a little sparring here, is it?" A fiery light appeared in her beautiful eyes. Xiao Ye was taken aback, then obediently said, "I'll shield the space for a bit." Nangguang Xiao got to work. Quick. 3 days and 3 nights later, it was over. Nangguang Xiao, full of energy and with a rosy complexion, patted Xiao Ye's shoulder and chuckled, "Little Ye, I didn't expect you to be so strong. I'm very satisfied." Xiao Ye was also in high spirits, smiling. "Let's not talk about that. Let's find the 2 sovereign realm rule origin bodies corresponding to your attributes." They were both at the first level of the star domain realm. Nangguang Xiao's attributes were life and death, life and destruction, requiring them to find the sovereign realm rule origin bodies of these 2 attributes. Nangguang Xiao looked dejected, muttering, "But I can't find them. I'm only at the first level of the star domain realm, too far from the sovereign realm. I can't sense the existence of the sovereign realm rule origin bodies. Xiao Ye, am I too useless?" Xiao Ye shook his head, "You're very good. Don't underestimate yourself. Leave the task of finding the sovereign realm rule origin bodies to me." He immediately released his senses, his divine sense instantly spreading throughout the entire super world. He was the master of the time-space palace, an invincible existence within it. In milliseconds, Xiao Ye located the original source bodies of the Dominator Realm rules, one with the life attribute and the other with the destruction attribute. The 2 source bodies were far apart. After a moment's thought, he communicated with the highest core of the space-time hall, remotely transferring these 2 Dominator Realm rule source bodies to him. Bang! 2 unremarkable rule source bodies appeared in the sky. "Xiao, try to awaken them. If that doesn't work, I'll have to use force." "Okay." Nangguang Xiao nodded, her star domain realm life and death source power emanating, connecting with the 2 source bodies, attempting to resonate with them and awaken them. The progress was very smooth. In just 1 hour, the 2 Dominator Realm life and death attribute rule source bodies were revived. A dazzling light shone forth. Rich life and destruction sources spread out simultaneously, connecting the entire super world. With the highest core mediating, the 2 opposing rule sources did not collide or conflict, they remained separate, gazing at each other from afar. Xiao Ye smiled and said, "Xiao, you should hurry up and cultivate. I need to go help the other beast girls." Nangguang Xiao held his hand reluctantly. "Xiao Ye, you must come see me once every 6 months. I just ate you clean, how can I be in the mood to cultivate? You have to satisfy me regularly." Xiao Ye agreed. He didn't need to cultivate, he could level up by waiting for the beast girls' cultivation feedback. All he could do was spend more time with these beast girls. Nangguang Xiao giggled, "I'm going to cultivate now, you go help the other sisters." She calmed her mind and began to extract pure primordial power of 2 attributes for cultivation. The power of rules and primordial power within the original body of the rules were the purest, and could be absorbed directly without refining. The primordial power and rare and precious materials needed to be refined before absorption. Directly extracting the original body of the rules saved a lot of time. Seeing Nangguang Xiao officially enter cultivation, Xiao Ye's figure disappeared. In a huge underground cavern. Wearing a teacher's uniform, the curvaceous and mature Liu Ye rubbed her temples and sighed. I clearly sensed the origin of the illusionary spirit rule in the sovereign realm nearby, but I've searched for days and haven't found a trace of it. If I can't even find the exact location of the original body, let alone awaken it. Could it be that I have to go back to the super hall to get reinforcements? She searched for another half hour, still without finding it, and sighed, deciding to go back and ask Xiao Ye. Just then, a young man's figure suddenly appeared in front of her. Liu Ye bumped into him. Ouch! What is that? So warm, so strong. It's my good husband, Xiao Ye. She blinked, her face full of surprise. Xiao Ye knew she had deliberately bumped into him and laughed. Sister Liu Ye, the original body of the sovereign realm rule with the illusionary spirit attribute is right behind you. It's just that it's still dormant, not yet awakened, hidden in the void. You can't find it with your eyes, you have to use the power of the illusionary spirit origin to sense it and try to awaken it. Once awakened, it will appear. Liu understood immediately after the reminder. She immediately used the power of the illusionary spirit origin to sense it. Rumble. In less than half an hour, the original body of the sovereign realm illusionary spirit rule was awakened and revealed. Liu was very happy. Haha, found it. Xiao Ye, I'm going to cultivate now. Is there anything you need to tell me? She was eager to try. Xiao Ye held her hand and said gently, no rush. We've played together for so long, now we have some time to play. Liu Ye's expression was strange. Play? We're not children anymore. What are we playing? Playing in the mud. What are we playing? Xiao Ye looked at Liu Ye and pointed at her. Liu Ye suddenly realized, her pretty face flushing red. Then come on. She closed her eyes, looking completely at him. Xiao Ye walked over. 3 days and 3 nights later, Liu Ye began cultivating. Seeing nothing amiss, Xiao Ye left. Xiao Ye arrived beside the proud young lady, Mu Qingsu, and was quite surprised. Mu Qingsu, with her time attribute, had actually awakened her original body of the time rule at the sovereign realm and entered a state of cultivation. Her body was permeated with dense time factors, and the flow of time was more than 1,000 times faster than those around her. At this moment, she was about to advance to the second level of the star domain realm. Qingsu is really reassuring. Since you've already started cultivating, I won't disturb you. Xiao Ye smiled and turned to leave. But suddenly, his hand was grabbed. Turning around, he was stunned to see Mu Qingsu's face full of anger, yet she said somewhat aggrievedly, Xiao Ye, where are you going? Am I that much that you hate me? If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 634 Star Domain Realm Time Attribute 1000x Acceleration, Time Reversal by 10,000 Years. Qingsu, did you know I was here? Xiao Ye was taken aback. Why would I hate you? It's nothing, don't overthink it. Mu Qingsu gripped his hand tightly, refusing to let go, and didn't reply. She just stared at him with resentment, anger, and grievance in her eyes. 2 months ago, after marrying him, they had a few days of tender intimacy during their honeymoon, but afterwards, they hardly spent any time together. She, Mu Qingsu, had a husband, but her life was like that of a widow. Xiao Ye smiled faintly. Qingsu, now that you have awakened the original body of the time rule in the sovereign realm, then continue your cultivation. I'm going to help your beast girl awaken her original body. Good girl. Mu Qingsu's pure eyes, like autumn water, instantly reddened, and tears welled up in her eyes. She choked back tears. Xiao Ye, don't forget, I'm your beast girl too. Xiao Ye paused, looked at her impressive figure, and laughed. That's right, you're my beast girl. Didn't I help you get rid of your flat chest a while ago? Now you have the right to be proud, aren't you happy? Happy my ass. Mu Qingsu playfully scolded. I don't care about being flat-chested, I wanted to develop again to attract your attention. But after I fully developed, you ignored me. HMPH. I need your company. Xiao Ye was taken aback, his eyes softening, and he nodded, I understand. King Su, thank you for doing so much for me. He opened his arms, revealing his chest. Mu King Su pounced on him, hugging him tightly, her delicate features radiating joy. She sniffed the air, then wrinkled her nose and looked up, scolding, Xiao Ye, when you're alone with me, can you at least take a shower and change your clothes first? Holding you like this, I can still smell the scent of other beast girls on you, it's really annoying. I'll give you 10 seconds to take a shower and change your clothes, or I'll beat you up. She released Xiao Ye, clenching her small fist and waving it. Xiao Ye was a little embarrassed, so in front of Mu King Su, he took off his clothes, using his special power to cleanse every corner of his body, every pore, like a car entering a car wash, a thorough, deep clean. Mu King Su blushed, but didn't look away. Instead, she watched with excitement, her eyes fixed on him. His physique had become even better. In a matter of milliseconds, Xiao Ye had changed into new clothes, a black and gold robe. Mu King Su was a little dissatisfied, she hadn't seen enough yet. HMPH. Xiao Ye, you must stay with me for half a month before you can leave. Otherwise. Xiao Ye gently hugged her, alright, whatever you say. For these 2 weeks, I'll spend time with you, chat and exercise with you. After half a month, I'll go help the other beast girls awaken their original rule essence. Mu King Su's beautiful eyes lit up, her smile as radiant as a flower, she was very happy. The two sat on a large rock, chatting about the past and the future, for 2 whole days. 2 days later, the two were inseparable and began exercising. While exercising, Xiao Ye didn't forget to give her some instructions. King Su, from now on, cultivate at full speed. We can now accelerate 1,000 times, stop time within the Milky Way galaxy, and even rewind time, turning back the overall time within the Milky Way galaxy by 10 days. If it's individual time rewinding, it can rewind tens of thousands of years. Unfortunately, the Hunter Starfield is too vast. And our cultivation level isn't high enough to rewind the entire Hunter Starfield's time, otherwise, we could have gained even more time. Hiss, slow down. Mu King Su is incredibly wild. HMPH, you're mine these days. I can do whatever I want with you. As for the Hunter Star Domain Lord, we're not afraid of him. Even if we can't beat him, he can't kill us. We not only have the Temple of Time and Space protecting us, but also the Time Divine Power. If there's danger in the future, we can automatically predict it and take precautions. Don't forget, besides time-related attributes, we also have reincarnation attributes. Even if we die, we can enter reincarnation and choose how we reincarnate. Xiao Ye nodded. Mu King Su is a beast girl with both time-related and reincarnation attributes. She could advance in one attribute or both. If it was simply to improve her realm, advancing in one attribute would be easier, but to unleash her full potential and maximize her combat power, it was naturally better to advance in both attributes together. She definitely wouldn't die. Even if her soul was destroyed, her own time would rewind 10,000 years, and she could be resurrected with full health. To kill a Star Domain realm expert with a time attribute, one would have to be at least several major realms stronger than the Star Domain realm. In this way, half a month passed in battle between the two. Half a month later, the battle ended. Xiao Ye did not leave. Mu King Su was in high spirits and felt much better afterward. She smiled and said, "What, you don't want to leave me?" Xiao Ye shook his head. The reincarnation god also had the attribute of reincarnation, so he might as well move the reincarnation god and the sovereign realm reincarnation rule origin body over. He released his senses and found the reincarnation god at a depth of 10,000 meters in the deep sea. As expected of a being born with the will of a god, the reincarnation god's perception of the reincarnation origin was extraordinary. It had already awakened its original body and entered a state of cultivation. Xiao Ye used his authority in the Hall of Time and Space to transfer the reincarnation god and the sovereign realm reincarnation rule origin body over remotely without disturbing the reincarnation god. Thus, in the sky, next to the original body of the time attribute, a reincarnation origin body appeared. Next to the reincarnation origin body, a reincarnation god was also floating in cultivation. Mu King Su was surprised. Xiao Ye, you can actually extract the original body from a distance. If you have this ability, Why did you even bring us out? We could just cultivate around the super palace. Xiao Ye waved his hand. You've been staying in one place for so long, you need to get some fresh air. To see some new things. Mu Kingsu said speechlessly, this super world is so vast, even the divine sense of a star domain realm cultivator can't cover 1/10,000th of it. What if we get lost? That is indeed a problem. Xiao almost got lost. Xiao Ye pondered for a moment, snapped his fingers, and smiled. I will grant you teleportation permissions right now. No matter where you are in the super world, you can instantly return to the super palace at the center of the world. He immediately gave the order to the Hall of Time and Space, granting map permissions and special teleportation permissions to all gods and all beast girls. Alright, Kingsu, you should start cultivating too. I'm going to go keep the other beast girls company. Xiao Ye replied. Mu Kingsu snorted coldly, go ahead, you'd better die on a woman's belly. She quickly entered a cultivation state, activating 1,000-fold acceleration. That speed was like traveling 1,000 miles a day, 1,000 times faster than the cultivation speed of other beast girls and gods. Xiao Ye smiled and teleported away. Ziran and Huangfu Xiangling were master and disciple, one a pure goddess with purple hair and a purple skirt, the other a youthful and beautiful silver-haired girl with twin ponytails. The two were currently moving rapidly among the towering ancient trees in the primeval forest. After more than half a month, they still hadn't found the original body of the sovereign realm with the reincarnation attribute. Chapter 635 The White-Haired Girl's Wedding Room. This area has a strong aura of devouring. These towering ancient trees are all devouring demonic plants, some even reaching the quasi-emperor realm, and there are several emperor-level demonic plants. The reincarnation origin body of the sovereign realm might be within this area. Ziran analyzed calmly. Compared to her master's calmness, Huangfu Xiangling seemed somewhat anxious. Master, we've searched for over half a month and haven't even seen a trace of the sovereign realm's origin body. I'm afraid there isn't one here. Master, I'm a first-level star domain realm cultivator, and you're just a quasi-emperor realm lackey. What can you possibly analyze? I haven't even sensed the reincarnation origin body of the sovereign realm. Ziran's face darkened. Her disciple's realm far surpassed hers by 2 major realms, and now she was actually lecturing her. She snorted coldly, my cultivation level is indeed much lower than yours, but my experience is far beyond your reach. You can't rely solely on brute force, you need brains. Huangfu Xiangling curled her lip disdainfully. In any universe, strength reigns supreme, only those with higher cultivation have a voice. All schemes and tricks are nothing but chickens and dogs before absolute power. Master, you have to listen to me this time. Let's go north now. The primordial power there is more concentrated and profound. The original body of the sovereign realm's reincarnation origin must be there. Ziran's lips twitched, her disciple's words made perfect sense. Then let's go together. The two women flew rapidly northward. Huangfu Xiangling, finding Ziran's flight speed too slow, grabbed Ziran's hand and carried her. The travel speed of the star domain realm was incredibly fast, approaching the speed of light. In just half a second, Huangfu Xiangling and Ziran landed in front of a strangely beautiful demonic plant. Huangfu Xiangling stared blankly up at the tree, astonished. This is a reincarnation attribute demonic plant at the perfect emperor realm? A demonic plant that's just one step away from advancing to the star domain realm. Master, it seems we've found the wrong thing. Ziran's face darkened even more. I see it. Huangfu Xiangling's expression fell. Then forget it, let's go. What a pity. Saying that, she was about to lead Ziran away. Wait. Ziran stopped. This demonic plant is at such a high level, there must be something unusual nearby. You said it yourself, the reincarnation origin of the Emperor realm isn't in this area, so the reincarnation rule origin of the sovereign realm is most likely nearby. You need to use your brain when you do things, understand? Huangfu Xiangling's beautiful eyes lit up upon hearing this, and she obediently said, Master is right. She had cultivated in the time and space hall for tens of thousands of years, and her bone age was tens of thousands of years older than Ziran's, but her mental age was only 28 years old, much younger than Ziran, who had lived in the mortal world for thousands of years. As the two approached the demonic plant, it unleashed countless tendrils that pierced the air and stabbed towards them. These tendrils were imbued with the dense power of the Emperor-level devouring rules, unleashing an extreme suction force that drained all the energy within 100 miles. Hurricanes formed from all directions, sweeping towards Ziran and Huangfu Xiangling. Ziran's face was grave. She was no match for a demonic plant at the peak of the Emperor level. Huangfu Xiangling's eyes flashed with disdain as she shielded Ziran behind her, unleashing the pressure of the Star Domain realm. The surrounding hurricanes vanished instantly. Boom! With a deafening crash, as if a mountain had crushed it, the peak-level Emperor-level demonic plant exploded, green blood splattering everywhere, undoubtedly dead. Its tentacles drooped limply, crashing to the ground. Ziran was shocked. A peak-level Emperor-level demonic plant, dead just like that? In the Milky Way, even the most powerful primordial Empress was only at the peak of the Emperor level. Huangfu Xiangling clapped her hands and nodded in satisfaction. Done. The difference between major realms is like a celestial insect, existing on two different levels. Her disciple had so easily killed the demonic plant at the peak of the Emperor realm. Ziran's desire to cultivate and become stronger was ignited. After killing the demonic plant, the two women searched the vicinity, sensing the primordial power in the void. Huangfu Xiangling attempted to awaken the original body of the devouring rules, which was hidden and dormant in the void at the sovereign realm. Ziran, on the other hand, was on guard. Suddenly, an extremely handsome young man appeared behind Ziran and hugged her. Ziran froze, coldly shouting, "Who dare to touch me? I'll burn your soul to the heavens." The young man chuckled, not only not letting go, but also slapping Ziran's pert buttocks hard. Ziran's beautiful eyes widened. This familiar feeling, she knew who it was. "Xiao Ye, how come you appear and disappear so suddenly, without even telling me you're coming?" Ziran complained. Xiao Ye laughed. "There are no outsiders in the time-space hall, you could guess it's me even with your toes. You guys are pretty good, you've already found the sovereign realm's original body, you don't need my help anymore." At this moment, the devouring sovereign realm's original body, dormant in the void, was awakened, revealing its form. Its massive, sky-spanning form emitted a faint glow. Extremely dense power of rules and origin permeated the entire super world. Huangfu Xiangling was extremely excited, jumping up and cheering, "Yay, I'm not bad either. The original body has been awakened. Master, come quickly, let's cultivate together." She turned her head and immediately pouted, displeased. "Oh, Master, I'm working hard here, and you're hugging and cuddling with Xiao Ye. You have things to do, so you make your disciple do them, and you just hug Xiao Ye when you don't, right?" Ziran rolled her eyes and told Xiao Ye to let go. In front of her disciple, she had to maintain her dignity as a master and not let her disciple laugh at her. "It's alright." Xiao Ye reached out and pulled Huangfu Xiangling over from a distance, holding her in one arm. His other arm was holding Ziran. He chuckled and said, "I'll stay with you for half a month first, and then you can start your cultivation. After that, I'll be going to stay with the other beast girls." Ziran blushed and spat, "I don't want you to stay with me." Huangfu Xiangling cheered loudly, "Great. Master is so stubborn. Not long ago, she complained to me that you promised to stay with her once a week, but you haven't stayed with her for so long. This time, you can stay with us for half a month, Master will definitely be satisfied." Ziran glared at the white-haired man. "Why are you undermining me? This bastard is getting too cocky. Stay with me? I think you'd rather Xiao Ye stay with you." Huangfu Xiangling snorted, "Of course. I'm still a virgin, I haven't had a wedding with Xiao Ye yet. I've only signed a contract with him, meaning I've become his beast girl, but we haven't had any physical intimacy." Xiao Ye smiled, used his creation-type talent skill, and with a wave of his hand, conjured a small villa on the open ground beside him. He pulled the two women into the villa and said, "Tell me what you need, and I'll do my best to meet your needs for the next 2 weeks." Huangfu Xiangling exclaimed excitedly, "I want to consummate our marriage with you." Xiao Ye nodded, and his materialization power reappeared, completely transforming the villa's decor. A brand new villa, brimming with festive red, was born. Huangfu Xiangling's eyes sparkled as she excitedly looked at the double red wedding decorations everywhere, saying, "Great, this is my wedding room." Chapter 636 The white-haired girl gets her wish. Xiao Ye and Ziran could both feel the joy of the white-haired girl. She was like a frolicking fawn, running and leaping merrily around the small villa's bridal chamber. After a while, the white-haired girl with pigtails excitedly approached Xiao Ye, her face flushed and delicate, asking, Xiao Ye, what are you planning to do with me here? Xiao Ye smiled, since we didn't have time for a wedding ceremony, let's go straight to the point and do something simple, wedding dresses for the bridal chamber. He took out a red wedding dress he had previously made from his system space and handed it to Huangfu Xiangling. The wedding dress, crafted from the Star Domain Realm's devoured origin crystal, was exquisitely beautiful, radiating a deep and vast aura. Huangfu Xiangling was stunned, staring at it in a daze. This was the white-haired girl's wedding dress? She gently stroked it with both hands, her eyes filled with affection, as if she had found a priceless treasure. Ziran chuckled, go on, change into your wedding dress. And wash yourself thoroughly, make sure you're clean. Huangfu Xiangling, carrying the wedding dress, entered the bathroom in their sight. The sound of rushing water filled the air. That sound, like a seductive, bewitching melody, lingered in their ears. Xiao Ye's face showed conflict, his eyes swirling with emotion. Ziran covered her mouth and chuckled, rolling her eyes. A captivating charm instantly emanated from her. She playfully scolded, Xiao Ye, you're already losing control, indulging in fantasies? Xiangling's mental age is only 28. She's inexperienced and immature. You must treat her well. Xiao Ye shook his head. No, I'm not a beast who only thinks with his lower half. I just feel that it wouldn't be fair to Bai Mao to so hastily enter the bridal chamber without holding a public wedding ceremony. Ziran's face froze, her expression complex. She said softly, I didn't expect you to care so much about Bai Mao. Xiao Ye stood up abruptly, decisively saying, today, perhaps we should just forget about it. Bai Mao is different from other beast girls. I need to give her a grand wedding. He wasn't someone who was easily swayed by beauty. There was no need to so easily and crudely take Bai Mao. He should marry her openly and respectfully, informing everyone across the land, and welcoming her into his home with a grand procession. Ziran shook her head. We've already given her the wedding room, we can't stop now. You should ask Xiangling's opinion. What's wrong with a formal marriage? What's wrong with a simple wedding night? Happiness isn't about grand gestures. True happiness is when Xiangling feels happy. Xiao Ye slapped Ziran's buttocks. You make a good point. Ziran's tone shifted mischievously. Xiangling is still bathing and changing. How about we have a little sparring session? For the next 2 weeks, you not only need to be with Xiangling, but I also need your company. Xiao Ye's eyes widened. A sparring session? What kind of sparring? Ziran's sudden attack told him the answer. Xiao Ye hesitated, this isn't appropriate, Xiangling is still in the bathroom. Ziran ignored him and launched into a fierce battle. The scene was a mess. The white-haired, twin-tailed girl, Huangfu Xiangling, happily put on her wedding dress and prepared to go to the living room, but then heard a voice that made her blush. Ugh, you stinky master, even now you're trying to steal Xiao Ye from me, you're so mean. Today is my wedding with Xiao Ye. She grumbled and punched the air, but didn't bother him, instead going into the bedroom. So sensible. She waited in the bedroom for a long time. 2 hours later, Xiao Ye finally came into the bedroom, dressed in a white gold robe. He'd learned his lesson, he'd used his special power to bathe and remove the other scents before changing. As soon as he entered the bedroom, he saw a white-haired girl in a wedding dress, sitting in a chair, her face flushed and pale. She was humming something. Xiao Ye felt a little embarrassed. Damn, he'd almost forgotten about the white-haired girl. He'd made her wait 2 hours. Ahem. He went to the girl in the wedding dress, lifted her veil, and said bluntly, white-haired girl, how about we call it quits? White-haired girl? Her face changed drastically, turning deathly pale. With a trembling voice, she said, Xiao Ye, we've already made a pact, we're almost ready to consummate our marriage, and you still despise me, wanting to get rid of me? Am I, Huangfu Xiangling, so unworthy of love? I was abandoned by that trashy father when I was young, isolated and rejected by my sisters, only my master has ever been kind to me. And now, you want to get rid of me too. Tears streamed down Bai Mao's face, her pretty little face streaked with tears, but her bright eyes stubbornly stared at Xiao Ye. No, 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 I don't want to get rid of you. Xiao Ye was anxious, his rough hand grasping Bai Mao's smooth, white hand, and said softly, I should have a grand and magnificent wedding with you, to formally welcome you into my family. Today, we won't consummate our marriage. Bai Mao choked back sobs, but her eyes shone brightly. No, I don't care about any of that, I'm content with you. Xiao Ye was stunned. Bai Mao was actually someone so easily satisfied. He hesitated. I'm not clean today. How about tomorrow? Huang Fu's angling snapped, abruptly standing up, trying to look Xiao Ye in the eye. But at 1.7 meters tall, she was half a head shorter than him. She stood on tiptoe, still craning her neck to see his eyes. Hands on her hips, she huffed and puffed like a dog with its fur standing on end. Xiao Ye, I don't object to you being with Master. So what if you're not clean today? You'll be clean for the next hour. Stop babbling. Hurry up. Xiao Ye was tackled by the white-haired girl. He witnessed the terror of the white-haired girl for the first time. 4 hours later, Xiao Ye, Ziran, and Huang Fu Xiangling were eating barbecue, beer, and fruit in the living room. Xiao Ye looked at the oysters, tiger antlers, chives, and dragon essence blood clots that the two women had been putting into his bowl. The small bowl was overflowing. He twitched his lips and complained, Ziran, Bai Mao, I'm already a star domain realm expert, I don't need to eat these. The two women glared at him, saying unequivocally, just eat what we tell you to eat. Eat quickly. Faced with the torture from the two women, Xiao Ye could only accept it. Seeing Xiao Ye's mouth full of oil, the two women chuckled and said, the star domain realm's devouring divine ability can transform into a black hole, instantly draining the entire Milky Way, let alone you. We're perpetual motion machines, we'll never overexert ourselves. Xiao Ye complained, I also possess devouring type attributes. You're perpetual motion machines, able to absorb all the energy in the world to replenish yourselves, so can I besides. I'm a cultivator of the life and wood attributes, my life force is inexhaustible, and the wood attribute is always available. He was practically a star domain realm expert in all attributes. Ziran shook her head, it's different, what we eat replenishes the kidneys, not. He lived with Ziran and Huang Fu Xiangling for half a month. Every day was filled with warmth and affection. The master and disciple weren't jealous of each other, on the contrary, they cherished each other. Xiao Ye lived a very comfortable and peaceful life. One day, seeing that Ziran and Huang Fu Xiangling had entered a meditative state, Xiao Ye quietly left. Meanwhile, somewhere in the eastern part of the superworld, Gu Qingcheng and the Goddess of Destiny were actually fighting. Chapter 637 The Forlorn Chengbingxi. Gu Qingcheng's aura surged, her body surrounded by Emperor-level rules. At this moment, her realm had reached the early stage of the third phase of the Emperor realm, on par with the God of Destiny. The two faced each other across the void, one after another, massive handprints of Destiny rules condensed before them, blasting towards each other. The collision of these handprints was like a nuclear explosion, erupting in the air and unleashing shockwaves that impacted an area of hundreds of thousands of miles. Gu Qingcheng's forehead was covered in fine sweat, her face flushed, and she was panting heavily, clearly exhausted. In contrast, the God of Destiny's breathing was steady, her expression calm, easily calming Gu Qingcheng's onslaught. The God of Destiny said elegantly and leisurely, Little Gu, the realm you've reached using your Destiny talent skill gives you the combat power of the third phase of the Emperor realm, but compared to the true third phase of the Emperor realm, you're still lacking. The first drawback is the high consumption and poor stamina, you're not long-lasting. The second drawback is the lack of stamina, once time runs out, you'll be at the end of your rope, losing your combat power. Gu Qingcheng nodded, she knew all of this. After using her innate skill to temporarily boost her cultivation level, she had tracked quickly, as the boost was temporary, not permanent. If she couldn't kill the enemy in a short time, she would surely die. This innate skill could only be used as a trump card, it shouldn't be used lightly unless she was completely out of options. Let's settle this once and for all. Gu Qingcheng unleashed the essence of her destiny rules, forming a spear of destiny, its sharp tip piercing through space as it hurtled towards the deity of destiny. The deity of destiny, unfazed, mimicked her by condensing a spear of destiny, which it grabbed and hurled at Gu Qingcheng. As the spear and the spear collided, a handsome young man appeared at the point of impact. He looked surprised. Why were they fighting all of a sudden? Gu Qingcheng and the deity of destiny both paled upon seeing Xiao Ye. Husband, get out of the way. Husband, danger. The two women looked at each other in panic. Xiao Ye shook his head, and with a wave of his hand, he used special confinement combined with his physical strength to easily grasp the tips of the spear and lance. The powerful shockwave of fate was instantly calmed. He held the spear of fate in one hand and the lance of fate in the other, performing a flourish. Then, with a powerful grip, the spear and lance shattered. The difference in combat power between the Emperor realm and the Star Domain realm is over 100 times, even the two women combined are no match for him. Moreover, he is a cultivator with the supreme attribute, possessing Star Domain realm divine abilities that enhance his body 10,000 times. Gu Qingcheng and the deity of destiny breathed a sigh of relief and approached, playfully scolding, "Husband, you almost scared me to death. That was close. Luckily, your cultivation level is high, otherwise we would have almost lost our husbands." Xiao Ye smiled, "It's alright. In the Hall of Time and Space, no attack can harm me. Are you two sparring?" Gu Qingcheng, weakened, leaned against Xiao Ye, her pretty face slightly flushed, and nodded, "After our cultivation level improved, we lacked combat experience. I plan to have old Gu as my sparring partner to solidify our foundation." Not to be outdone, the deity of destiny grabbed Xiao Ye's hand and asked, "Husband, what are you doing here? Did you miss us?" "Xiao Ye, it's been a month and a half since we left the super hall. I came to keep you company. To observe your cultivation progress again." He looked up at the sky, where a vast and narrow destiny origin body stretched across the horizon, along with the awakened sovereign realm origin body. With the deity of destiny present, knowing how to awaken the origin body, he didn't need to help. Gu Qingcheng's beautiful eyes lit up. "Keep us company?" "Sure." Xiao Ye tossed out a small house, pulling one of them into it. Gu Qingcheng said warily, "Old Gu, my husband is mine today, but he'll be yours tomorrow. You're not allowed to fight me for him." The deity of fate chuckled, "Back then I had to wait, and it's the same now. Alright, we'll take turns keeping Xiao Ye company." Xiao Ye was surprised. The two didn't fight. Time passed, and he stayed there for half a month. He chatted with Gu Qingcheng and the deity of fate every day, maintaining constant interaction. After half a month, he left. 10,000 miles away, Xie had also awakened her auspicious type rule origin and entered cultivation. Xiao Ye appeared beside her, watching her for a long time without disturbing her. However, Xie possessed both auspicious and curse attributes, so only a Dominator realm origin was available here. He used his authority to remotely move a curse-type Dominator realm origin from the other end of the superworld and placed it nearby. After doing all this, he left. At the northernmost tip of the superworld, Cheng Bingxi walked alone through a vast, white, snow-covered mountain range. The mountains and vegetation were blanketed in snow, and the temperature was frighteningly low. The more Cheng Bingxi walked, the more lost and anxious she became. She sensed the primal power of a supreme attribute here, a power higher than that of the Star Domain realm, undoubtedly emanating from the supreme attribute primal body of a sovereign realm expert. But after searching for over 2 months, she found nothing. She felt like she was about to develop snow blindness, her eyes were blurry, and even scanning with her divine sense made her mind somewhat dizzy. Standing atop the snow-capped mountain, gazing at the vast expanse of snow-covered peaks, Cheng Bingxi gritted her teeth, blaming herself. "I'm probably the only beast girl among all of them who hasn't awakened her sovereign realm origin form yet. As Xiao Ye's official consort, yet not the most capable, am I still fit to be the official consort?" She was the official consort because she was Xiao Ye's first love, the other beast girls and gods only gave her face. But to be the official consort, that alone wasn't enough, far from enough. Xiao Ye's beast girls and gods were all outstanding, dazzling beyond compare. She, Cheng Bingxi, lacked both figure and beauty, her cultivation level only at the first stage of the Star Domain realm, ordinary, unremarkable. She couldn't even compare to Mu Qingsu. This was a huge blow to her. To be Xiao Ye's official consort, managing such a large family required the strongest power and skill. Only then could she gain the respect and recognition of the other beast girls and gods as the official consort. Right now, she clearly lacked many things. No matter how hard she tried, her cultivation level could never surpass Mu Qingsu's, nor could it surpass the other beast girls. Sigh. Why don't we go back and let Qingsu be the main wife? Although Qingsu is arrogant, her cultivation level is high, and she comes from the city lord's family. She knows how to manage and control people. She might be more suitable to manage a large family than I am. Cheng Bingxi sighed, her delicate face full of worry. At this moment, a male voice rang out, filled with allure, "Little girl, I am the god of Snow Mountain. I can grant any wish. If you give me one, I will grant you one wish. Are you willing?" Cheng Bingxi was startled, looked around, and shouted, "Xiao Ye, you bastard, come out here. If you want it, just come and get it." What are you pretending to be the god of Snow Mountain for? It's not like I'm not going to give it to you. Xiao Ye appeared in front of Cheng Bingxi with a frustrated look. Bingxi, why don't you fall for it? Cheng Bingxi's face darkened. I could recognize your voice even if you turned to ashes. How can you expect me to fall for it? Chapter 638 All Sovereign Realm Experts. Xiao Ye stared at Cheng Bingxi. She had completely shed her youthful naivete and exuded a mature aura. The haziness in her eyes had been replaced by sharpness and composure, and her work style had become efficient and swift. She had transformed from a clumsy, inept employee into a decisive and efficient female CEO of a listed company. This was growth. The girl Bingxi had completely become the woman Bingxi. Cheng Bingxi muttered, "Why are you staring at me like that? Do you really want to have a good time on this snowy mountain peak?" HMPH, really? Xiao Ye scoffed. In Bingxi's mind, he was just an old man who always thought with his lower body? No, I was just thinking about how much you've changed, and it reminded me of the days when we were classmates at the 3 high schools. Perhaps when I'm with other beast girls, it's because I'm attracted to their bodies, their template attributes. There are feelings involved to some extent. But with you, it's different. Being with you is an emotional anchor. It's not about wanting to have sex with you, you understand? Cheng Bingxi's anxiety subsided slightly, and she said gratefully, "Thank you." Xiao Ye's words showed that her place in his heart was irreplaceable and unique. But she remained troubled, saying worriedly, "But you have so many beast girls. As the main wife, I'm not capable enough to manage and control such a large family. My cultivation level isn't high enough either, they might not be convinced by me." Xiao Ye was taken aback, then comforted her, "So what if your cultivation level is high? So what if it's low? Tell me whoever is disobedient, and I'll teach them a lesson." He put on a fierce look and said menacingly, "Is it Ziran or Mutingsu? Tell me, who's making you so worried? I guarantee I'll beat her into submission, so she can't get out of bed, can't even walk." He straightened his body, revealing his domineering aura. Cheng Bingxi chuckled and rolled her eyes. "Come on, this kind of lesson is a reward, not a punishment. If you really want to punish them, you should leave them cold and not let them touch you. That would be the real punishment." Sigh, whatever. I'll work hard to learn management skills and improve my cultivation level. Right now, apart from King Su, whose cultivation level is higher than mine, the other beast girls aren't any higher. With you here, they'll give me face. Seeing her laugh, Xiao Ye couldn't help but laugh too. The two embraced for a long time, inhaling each other's unique scents, both feeling extremely peaceful and comfortable. Suddenly, Cheng Bingxi exclaimed, shyly complaining, "Xiao Ye, you're aroused. HMPH, you said you only had feelings for me, men are such pigs." Xiao Ye said confidently, "I'm a normal man." Cheng Bingxi rolled her eyes and sighed, "I'm speechless." Then, she offered herself to him. Xiao Ye satisfied her. Atop the 10,000 snow-capped mountains, where ice stretched for thousands of miles and snow drifted for hundreds of thousands of miles, the music rose and fell. Several hours later, the commotion on the snow-capped mountains gradually subsided. After a long while, Cheng Bingxi, dressed in a golden dragon robe, and Xiao Ye, in a white gold robe, floated in the sky, gazing at the boundless snow-capped mountains. A supreme attribute rule origin of the sovereign realm spanned above their heads. Cheng Bingxi's tightly furrowed brows completely relaxed, and she said joyfully, "The origin has finally awakened. I'm going to start cultivating." "Xiao Ye, go do what you need to do." Xiao Ye nodded. As the saying goes, what do you do when a woman is in a bad mood? Just give her one. This statement was very apt and effective. "Bingxi, you cultivate. I'll watch you." Cheng Bingxi agreed and quickly entered a state of cultivation, drawing upon the pure origin power of the sovereign realm for her cultivation. At the star domain realm, cultivating with the primal power of the sovereign realm, her mythical level aptitude was more than enough to digest and absorb it without feeling any difficulty in cultivation. Her strength increased by leaps and bounds, constantly rising. Xiao Ye watched from the side for 4 or 5 days before leaving. He arrived not far from the ancestral empress, Yunbing, and Yunzai. These three were special attribute cultivators. Yunbing also had the blessing of lightning attribute, and Yunzai had the blessing of ice attribute, making them both dual attribute cultivators. Xiao Ye remotely summoned the sovereign realm primal bodies of lightning and ice attributes and placed them 10 miles away. Dual attribute cultivation is slower than single attribute cultivation, taking at least 1.5 times, or even twice, more to advance in dual attribute cultivation. Time slowly passed. Year after year went by. Xiao Ye's responsibility was to supervise the cultivation progress of each beast girl, preventing any accidents from happening to them. He also accompanied each beast girl to rest and relax for 10 to 15 days every now and then. The realms of each beast girl were also rapidly improving. Star Domain Realm, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. Star Domain Realm, Tier 10, Quasi-Dominator Realm, all the way to Tier 1 Dominator Realm. 3 days passed on the outside world's blue star, but hundreds of thousands of years passed in the Time-Space Palace. On this day, within the Time-Space Palace, all the beast girls returned to the Grand Hall in the center of the super world. Cheng Bingxi, Nanguang Xiao, Liu Yan, Yun Bing, Mu Qingsu, Ziran, Yunzai, Qinzir, Gu Qingcheng, the Reincarnation God, the Destiny God, and the Primordial Empress, a total of 12 stunningly beautiful women, gathered together. Each was breathtakingly beautiful, with a unique temperament and personality. A cacophony of pleasant laughter filled the grand hall. Despite the long separation, their affection for each other remained strong, and they were all very warm and friendly. Cheng Bingxi, seated on the dragon crystal chair, smiled and asked, "Has everyone advanced to the Dominator Realm?" The beast girls all answered in unison, confirming that they had all advanced to the Dominator Realm. Especially Nanguang Xiao, who was extremely smug, her head held high like a swan. Mu Qingsu then spoke up, "I am at the 10th level of the Sovereign Realm." All the beast girls and gods were extremely surprised. So powerful? Nanguang Xiao was dumbfounded. 10th level of the Sovereign Realm? Actually 10th level? I'm only at the 1st level of the Sovereign Realm. The Ancestral Empress spoke up, "I am at the 4th level of the Sovereign Realm." Hiss. The beast girls present gasped. Everyone was only at the 1st level of the Sovereign Realm, so why were the Ancestral Empress and Mu Qingsu so powerful? Cheng Bingxi gritted her teeth. She was only at the 3rd level of the Sovereign Realm, thinking she was already far ahead of the other beast girls, but she was still quite far behind. Xiao Ye smiled. The competition between beast girls could also stimulate their competitive spirit, making them cultivate in a more competitive environment. His current realm was also at the 10th level of the Sovereign Realm, the 10th level of the Sovereign Realm with the time attribute, the 1st level of the Sovereign Realm for most other attributes, and the 5th level of the Sovereign Realm with the space attribute. It all depended on the feedback from these beast girls' cultivation. At this moment, Gu Qingcheng frowned and said, "Are we missing something?" Nanguang Xiao looked blankly. "No, all the beast girls and gods are here." The other beast girls were also confused. Cheng Bingxi's lips curled up. "Zhang Zunan, don't sulk at the door, come in quickly." At the entrance of the main hall, a stunningly beautiful woman wearing a white, flowing fairy dress walked out. It was the little maid Zhang Zunan, in her starry sky beast human form. Her cheeks puffed out, and she said angrily, "Master, mistress, sisters, you actually forgot about me. My realm has advanced to the 1st level of the Star River Realm." The 1st level of the Star River Realm? The many beast girls were shocked. Chapter 639. A deadly intent approaches. The cultivation realms are divided into Emperor Realm, Star Domain Realm, Sovereign Realm, Galaxy Realm. All the beast girls were shocked. They were only at the 1st level of the Sovereign Realm, while the little maid was already at the Galaxy Realm. She was a whole major realm higher than them. The ancestral queen's eyes widened. Even the strongest cultivators in the beast-hunting star domain were only at the 10th level of the Sovereign Realm. Jiangzu's realm was stronger than even the domain lord of the Xiao Ye Emperor Star. This starry behemoth was far superior to them. Mu Qingsu's arrogance faded slightly. She had thought Jiangzu was the highest-ranking beast girl, but it turned out the little maid's realm was even higher. Although Jiangzu was a little maid, in everyone's eyes, she was also Xiao Ye's woman, placed on an equal footing, and not treated as a lowly servant to be ordered around. Cheng Bingxi almost ground her teeth to powder, feeling quite dissatisfied with herself. Why, after so much hard work, was she only at the 3rd level of the Sovereign Realm, not even ranking in the top 3 among the many beast girls? Xiao Ye sat on the amethyst chair next to Cheng Bingxi, waved his hand, and said, "Zhang Zunan, a high cultivation level is a good thing, but don't be arrogant. Be humble and patient." During this period of cultivation, he had spent the least time with Zhang Zunan, only visiting her occasionally. Zhang Zunan was a star-type cosmic behemoth, She had ample cultivation resources of her own and didn't need him to provide them. Of course, she was also the one he trusted the most. Jiang Zunan giggled, okay. Xiao Ye nodded, stood up abruptly, his fighting spirit surging, and said firmly, everyone has advanced to the sovereign realm, it's time to stretch our legs. Let's return to Blue Star immediately, conquer the Purple Star Emperor, and kill the Domain Lord. Nangguang Xiao, kill. 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 Jiang Zunan, roar. 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 Many beast girls looked serious, almost unable to contain themselves. Xie Mengxuan stood up and waved her hands sharply, let's go. A huge golden light gate appeared in the center of the hall. Xiao Ye and Xie Mengxuan led the way, followed closely by the other beast girls. Jiang Zunan acted as a bodyguard, constantly monitoring the surroundings. In the Milky Way, 2 long processions sped towards Blue Star. The convoys were quite large, with 2 luxurious vehicles and 2 teams of over 20 purple-skinned warriors following behind. They moved like shooting stars, reaching the speed of light, crossing the starry Great Wall, leaving long trails of light. The ferocious beast generals stationed on the starry Great Wall didn't even have time to react before they vanished. In one of the vehicles, the Secretary General's face was grim. After informing the Domain Lord that the Ancestral Empress had been defiled, the Domain Lord was furious and immediately ordered the execution of Xiao Ye and the Ancestral Empress. Fortunately, the god of war Hong of the Purple Star Emperor intervened, barely managing to quell the Domain Lord's anger. God of war Hong was no pushover either, he had a very ambitious plan. In the other vehicle, his purpose in coming to the Milky Way was not pure. The Secretary General believed that prodigies should have the power of pardon, exempting them from all minor offenses and appeasing them with goodwill. However, this trip was unlikely to be peaceful and would inevitably lead to conflict. In another vehicle, Hong Zunshen was quite excited. His talent was unremarkable in his childhood, only transforming after consuming a Talent Dao fruit. He had discovered that Talent Dao fruit by chance, there was only one, and subsequent searches yielded nothing. But now, a prodigy similar to him, Xiao Ye, had appeared in the Milky Way. This Xiao Ye had most likely also consumed a similar rare treasure, and at only 19 years old, it meant that the treasure hadn't been completely consumed. If Xiao Ye were refined into a human pill, perhaps some of its essence could be extracted. If Hong Zunshen were to consume it, his talent would likely experience a surge. The convoy moved very quickly, arriving outside Blue Star in just a few seconds. A voice from a purple-robed genius of the Hall of Prodigies resounded throughout the entire Blue Star, where are Xiao Ye and the Ancestral Empress? Hurry up and come to greet them. He shouted 3 times. But Xiao Ye and the Ancestral Empress did not appear for a long time. He grew impatient and clasped his hands in a fist salute, reporting, War God Hong, Secretary General, Xiao Ye and the Ancestral Empress are far too rude. Let's just blast Blue Star and teach them a lesson. The other 20-odd prodigies from the Hall of Prodigies arrogantly replied, just because he has some talent, he thinks he can look down on everyone? Kill him. He's not even from our Xiao Ye Emperor Star's Hall of Prodigies, yet he's so rude, he doesn't even know the proper way to treat guests. HMPH, just a human, a lowly race. I don't believe he's that monstrous. Hell, the Milky Way, what a remote star system. So what if there are prodigies? I, a perfected Emperor Realm expert, can cross the border and kill them with a single hand. At this moment, a cold snort came from the rear carriage, and the Secretary General's voice rang out, take back what you just said. We're here to recruit talent, not to interrogate you. Perhaps Prodigy Xiao is busy and can't get away for the time being. Let's wait a bit longer. Upon hearing this, the purple-clad prodigies in their robes curled their lips, their eyes showing disdain, but they didn't refute. Hong Zunshen said, it's all right, wait for them. At this moment, Xiao Ye, along with 12 stunningly beautiful women and the maid Jiang Zunan, appeared in Mengguan Base City. They saw the anxious Chengqi couple and Nangguang Kitao couple. Hearing the voice from the starry sky, their faces turned solemn, as if facing a formidable enemy. Son-in-law, although we don't know which planet Xiao Ye Emperor Star is, those people are hostile. You'd better not meet them. That's right, son-in-law, I've already contacted the city lord of Moto Base City. He's a supreme realm expert and should be able to handle those people. Xiao Ye smiled faintly, father-in-law and mother-in-law, don't worry, we can handle it. Mu Qingsu's expression was strange. Her father was a supreme realm expert? In the starry sky, Emperor Realm experts were just small fry, and Supreme Realm experts weren't even cannon fodder. She stepped forward to comfort them, saying, "Uncle and Aunt, I am the daughter of the city lord of Shanghai. We can handle this. You can rest assured at home, there's really no need to worry." Cheng Kik and Nanguang Kitao were taken aback. The daughter of the city lord of Shanghai? You really can handle those people? They were skeptical. Cheng Bingxi and Nanguang Xiao smiled. "Father, mother, don't worry at all. We're very strong. Yes, you can believe what we say, right?" The two couples, Cheng Kik and Nanguang Kitao, reluctantly believed them and returned to the city lord's mansion with deep doubts. Xiao Ye's gaze was cold as he waved his hand and said, "Let's go." The group vanished in a flash. When they reappeared, they were already in front of two fleets outside Blue Star. The purple-clad prodigy was startled and took a step back, saying, "Who are you? When did you appear?" "Hiss, how can there be so many beauties? Each one of them is stunningly beautiful." Xiao Ye remained silent. The Secretary General was overjoyed. He alighted from his car and approached, excitedly exclaiming, "Xiao Xianjiao, you've finally come to your senses. You want to join our Xie Ye Imperial Star." The purple-clad prodigies looked arrogant, their eyes greedily sweeping over Cheng Bingxi and the others. They assumed Xiao Ye would definitely agree. Joining the Hall of Prodigies would be an immense honor, bringing glory to their ancestors. As for these stunning beauties, they hadn't expected there to be so many on Blue Star. Hong Xianshan's lips curled into a smile. He wasn't interested in women, but he was interested in Xiao Ye. However, Xiao Ye's answer shocked everyone. "Sorry, I'm used to being a loner and won't join any faction." Chapter 640 Life Deprivation, Concept Annihilation. The Secretary General's expression changed drastically, and he hurriedly said, "Xiao Xianjiao, I advise you to reconsider. You stole the Ancestral Empress, and the Domain Lord is already furious. If it weren't for War God Hong protecting you, we wouldn't be here to recruit you, we'd be here to kill you." Xiao Ye calmly shook his head. The Secretary General was extremely anxious, his face turning ashen with anger. How can you be so stubborn?" Before he could finish speaking, a purple-clad prodigy stepped forward and sneered, "Secretary General, why waste words with him? This brat is ungrateful, just kill him. Boy, not just anyone can join our Xie Ye Emperor Star Prodigy Hall. It's your honor to invite you, you should kneel down to welcome us and know how to be grateful." The purple-clad prodigy stepped forward, his aura growing increasingly intense, and the surrounding starry sky was compressed, emitting a groaning, unpleasant sound. Xiao Ye winked at the beast girls and transmitted his voice, "These people are hostile. Except for the Secretary General, kill them all." The purple-clad prodigy raised his fist, a fist brimming with raging flames, and unleashed a powerful punch. The flames, surrounded by the power of rules, collided with the force of a star. The stunningly beautiful young woman, Nanguang Xiao, with her branches laden with fruit, jumped out with a grin, blocking Xiao Ye's path. She made a face and chuckled, "Little rascal, trash like you isn't qualified to attack Xiao Ye. Destruction ruled divine ability, conceptual destruction, annihilation of all concepts." A faint life force spread out, like ripples on water, instantly reaching the fiery fist. The purple-clad prodigy scoffed, "You may have some looks, but facing my fiery sun fist, you're courting death. What a waste of a pretty face." But what happened next froze his expression. The moment the fiery sun fist touched the wave of destruction rule, it instantly crumbled, vanishing completely like a star falling. Nanguang Xiao, one hand on her hip and the other pointing at the purple-clad prodigy, raised her head. "You can't even protect yourself, yet you dare to criticize me. PFFT. The purple-clad prodigy stared in shock at his gradually disintegrating body, exclaiming in terror, "This woman is actually a destruction-type cultivator, and a star domain realm expert at that. War God Hong, save me." His words had no effect. In milliseconds, his body vanished without a trace, annihilated conceptually. Hiss. Holy crap. My God. The purple-clad guards cried out in alarm. That beautiful woman with twin ponytails and enormous breasts was actually a star domain realm destruction-type expert. The purple-clad prodigies' faces turned grave, their initial contempt vanished instantly, replaced by intense defensiveness and fighting spirit. War God Hong, on his mount, looked extremely grim. He had intervened, but failed to save her. Even the energy of his attack had been completely destroyed. This woman was probably more than just a star domain realm cultivator. Nangguang snorted, anyone who still wants to kill Xiao Ye, step forward. I'll kick them all out at once, it's too much trouble to do it one by one. The Secretary General's pupils contracted. A purple-clad prodigy stepped forward, clasped his hands, and said, I am a second-tier star domain realm prodigy, ranked 10th in the Hall of Prodigies. I will end you. A deafening roar followed. He attacked with an air cannon. His punch was like a nuclear bomb falling. Nangguang said impatiently, I told you all to attack together, but nobody listens to me. Life-type rule divine ability, life deprivation, deprives all life to replenish itself. A dazzling light shot from her beautiful eyes, surpassing the brightness of the sun, incomparably dazzling. Where the light shone, nothing grew. The more than 20 prodigies in the purple-clad prodigy team and the more than 20 members of the purple-clad guard team, under the dazzling light, had all their abundant life force extracted and deprived. In that instant, it seemed like eternity. Their lives came to an end. As the light faded, the two teams, the Star Domain Realm Prodigies team and the Emperor Realm Guard team, were all like withered grass, their bodies lifeless and devoid of any vitality. Their bodies remained, but their pupils were dilated, they were all dead. Nangguang casually swatted away the air cannon that resembled a falling nuclear bomb, as if swatting a mosquito. A smile appeared on her face as she giggled, finally, it's quiet. These damned mosquitoes, if you won't attack, I'll take the initiative. Xiao Ye, I did a good job, didn't I? Xiao Ye patted her head and nodded. He. Receiving her husband's praise, Nangguang was overjoyed, her smile as bright as a flower. The many beast girls' beautiful eyes widened. Damn it, Xiao stole their chance to show off in front of Xiao Ye. No way, I have to make a move later too, and show off in front of Xiao Ye. Not far away, the Secretary General examined the withered bodies of the purple creatures and exclaimed in shock, dead. All dead. Not a single survivor. All life force is gone, all vitality is lost. What? Hong Xianshan's expression changed drastically, and he finally stepped down from his mount. He examined the bodies of each of the purple creature prodigies one by one, his face expressionless. The Secretary General exclaimed in shock, this woman with pigtails is actually a cultivator with both destruction and life attributes. And her realm is at the high level of the Star Domain realm. This one person alone could probably wipe out all the prodigies in our Xie Ye Emperor Star's Hall of Prodigies. Destruction and life attributes appearing individually might not be uncommon, but for one person to possess both simultaneously is extremely terrifying. Hong Xianshan trembled, suppressing something. Just when the Secretary General thought he would fly into a rage and go on a killing spree, unexpectedly, Hong Xianshan was extremely excited and burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, good, that's wonderful. Young lady, I acknowledge you. I admire your talent and attributes. Would you be willing to become my personal disciple? Nangguang Xiao Ye, and the numerous beast girls looked strange. Why was it another disciple-taking situation? Gu Qingcheng, with her destiny attribute, transmitted her voice, I can see this person's good and evil. He exudes a strong aura of malice. His purpose in taking on a disciple is definitely not pure. Nangguang Xiao indicated her understanding, stepped forward, and said in a slightly arrogant tone, someone like you is not qualified to be my master. Come on, you're the only one left. Let's finish this quickly. The burly man, Hong Xianshan, laughed loudly, a prodigy, a little arrogance is normal. In an instant, he was like a tiger king, emanating a murderous aura that swept across the entire Milky Way. The sun in the distance on Blue Star began to flicker, and all the planets in the solar system trembled. Xiao Ye's expression changed, and he quietly made his move. Rule-based divine ability, spatial barrier, a barrier formed from spatial rules, capable of blocking the aftershocks of battle, serving a defensive purpose. In an instant, the planets of the Milky Way and the solar system returned to their original state. Hong Xianshan's pupils shrank, his face grave, and he exclaimed in shock, this Xiao Ye is actually a sovereign realm cultivator. Holy crap, a sovereign realm cultivator? The Secretary General was stunned. Xiao Ye curled his lip, summoning Nangguang Xiao back, he would deal with this person personally. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 641 Time rewinds 600,000 years. Finally, we've made contact. At first, Frena's image was intermittent, but after it stabilized, her voice rang out in relief. The image on the teleportation stone asked directly, "Sky, have you dealt with that Wilderness Alliance?" Looking at the image before him, Frena was still wearing the silver armor she had left in, but her condition was clearly poor, her face was haggard, and the magic stone on the chest of her armor had dimmed considerably. "I'm sorry, Lady Frena, those natives fled back into the depths of the wilderness today." Flagello looked ashamed. As a highly valued commander, making such a mistake was truly disgraceful. "Good day, Baron Levi." Just then, Frena's image looked behind the two of them. Flagello and Sky were both startled and followed a gaze. They saw their lord, who had seemingly left some time earlier, standing right behind them, peeking around, seemingly having been there for an unknown amount of time. Ahem. Li Wei coughed awkwardly twice, then greeted them with a smile. "Good day, Lady Frena." He then explained to the two who fell silent, as if they'd just eaten something disgusting, "I had already left, but then I remembered I'd left something here, so I came back to get it. I didn't expect to run into Duke Frena sending you a message." Li Wei, who had meant to say video call, changed his words, then stared curiously at a small stone on the ground. Undoubtedly, the image was coming from it. This made the Lord marvel at the magic of the artifact, while also stirring a desire within him, making him want to pick it up and play with it. Seeing the innocent-looking Lord, the two were helpless. To avoid burying their heads in the sand, they hadn't specifically ordered soldiers to guard the area and prevent anyone from entering, they had simply sent the officers away. Unexpectedly, this allowed Li Wei to return to this dilapidated camp without anyone noticing. "It's not a very important secret, Baron Levi knows, so be it. Besides, I happen to need his help with something." Frena rubbed her temples, looking preoccupied. "Yes." The two nodded in response. "Your Grace, I will do my best to fulfill your wishes." The Lord nodded and smiled, not daring to make a promise. "I don't know if it's the distance or something else, but I was only able to contact you now. So, regarding all this, I'll keep it brief." Frena became very serious. A group of dark elves, appearing out of nowhere, organized this southward march of the Wilderness Alliance to distract us. Their true purpose is to cut off the northern Lone Valley elf tribe's request for aid and to plunder their magic crystal mines. When I led my cavalry here, I happened to witness them leading a large army to attack Lone Valley. After a fierce battle, I temporarily repelled them, and I also successfully met with the Whisperwine tribe of Lone Valley. I intended to contact you directly, asking you to defeat the Wilderness Alliance as soon as possible and then march north to provide support, but I only managed to make contact now. So, Flagello, forget about these wilderness natives and bring the Thorn Legion to Lone Valley as quickly as possible. At this point, Florina looked at Levi. "Baron Levi, this war for Whiteflow City needs your help. The promised knighthood still belongs to you. Regarding this military aid, I will pay you a satisfactory reward." Florina spoke quickly and urgently, indicating the seriousness of the situation. "Lady Florina, I would like to know how many troops these dark elves have. This will affect whether I agree to this military aid," Levi asked earnestly. This time, he wasn't trying to further inflate his value, he was genuinely weighing the pros and cons. To put it bluntly, the trigger for this war was that these drow elves had their eyes on another elven tribe's so-called magic crystal mine. With Flinniken investing so heavily in helping, she was likely also getting a share of the mine, so this war was essentially a struggle for profit between two forces. It had absolutely nothing to do with him. Even if Flinniken paid him, if the enemy was powerful, he really didn't need to get involved. The enemy is a large force, a total of 5,000, drow, 20,000. But at this crucial moment, the image started to falter, accompanied by a hissing sound. "SK will tell you everything." With the last sentence, the image suddenly went out. Damn it, no signal at this crucial moment? Playing this trick on me, the Lord. The Lord looked at the stone that had lost its image, fiddling with it in his hand, but it remained unresponsive, making him furious. "My lord, there's no need for that. Once the teleportation stone has been used, it's no different from any other stone you can find in the mountains," Sky advised Li Wei, Who was constantly hitting the stone? Damn it! The Lord slammed the stone to the ground, expressing his dissatisfaction. He even suspected that Frana was doing this on purpose to influence his judgment and get him to go to the aid. Let's go back first. Sky will explain everything to you on the way, Fujiro said, then hurriedly ran off to command the army to set off again. The legion, bearing the thorns-entangled sword banner, set off again towards the camp, moving even faster than before. The Lord rode alongside Night Sky, who explained everything. So, magic crystal ore is a type of ore that contains a large amount of magic power? The Lord suppressed his inner turmoil and confirmed again. My lord, it's not magic power, it's primordial magic power. The former can be directly absorbed and used, while the latter belongs to ancient magic power. Its concentration is too high, and it must be refined through special methods before it can be used, Sky explained seriously. After all, primordial magic power is not something to joke about. One wrong move and you could get magic sickness. Back then, when we traded with the elven tribes, these magic crystal mines were part of the deal. As for the other things, they were just a smokescreen. It can be said that the magic crystal mines account for at least 30% of the North's current prosperity. Sky sighed, so even with the imminent southward advance, Duke Frana cannot stand idly by and watch her magic crystal mines be plundered. The Lord nodded, but inwardly he was incredibly excited. When Sky revealed what magic crystal mines actually were, he instantly thought of something. The stone egg. The stone egg related to the goddess of nature. When that old fellow Sam discovered that magic was needed to hatch the stone egg, the Lord, due to the financial constraints of High Cliff Fortress, had to temporarily shelve the hatching process. But now, couldn't this so-called magic crystal mine solve the problem perfectly? As for the concentration of magic and primordial magic, this stone egg was passed down from ancient times. Wasn't this just a lucky accident? The Lord, who had been somewhat hesitant, made up his mind. Chapter 642 The Secretary General recognizes his master, a 10th-rank servant of the Sovereign Realm. You are no match for the Domain Lord. Our Xie Ye Imperial Star, besides War God Hong, has 10 Sovereign Realm Generals guarding it. You only have 2 Sovereign Realm Generals, going there will only be suicide. I advise you to put aside your hostility towards Xie Ye Imperial Star and let me leave. I'm doing this for your sake. The Secretary General said earnestly. He was pleased that a beast-hunting starfield could produce such a monstrous genius. But the thought of Xiao Ye standing on the opposite side of Xie Ye Imperial Star made him feel heavy-hearted. Xiao Ye glanced at the many beast girls. He said we are no match for him. What do you think? More than a dozen beast girls spoke up. Xie Ye Imperial Star, we'll crush it. Don't underestimate us. We are united, and everyone is of one mind. Boom. 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 The powerful pressure belonging to the sovereign realm erupted from each of the beautiful beast girls. The starry sky trembled, and dark matter withered away. The Secretary General was like a lone boat, battered by a storm of oppressive power, his fragile life seemingly on the verge of capsizing at any moment. He was shocked. Sovereign realm experts. They were all sovereign realm experts. Although most were only newly entered the sovereign realm, this pressure alone made even a 9th-level sovereign realm expert feel a chill run down his spine, sensing a life-or-death crisis. They were all monstrous sovereign realm experts like Xiao Ye. You are all humans from Blue Star? What is your relationship with Mr. Xiao? He stammered. Cheng Binxi glanced at him and said calmly, we are all Xiao Ye's wives. Numerous beast girls spoke up, their melodious voices ringing out, yes, Xiao Ye's wives. We are my husband's beast girls. Our husband is our husband. The Secretary General was dumbfounded. Damn, they were all Xiao Ye's wives. This Xiao Ye was so powerful, so fortunate to have so many beautiful women following him. These stunning women are all super geniuses who could enter the Starry Sky Myriad Race's prodigy ranking. Their attributes are all extremely rare, and they possess a dazzling future. He admitted that he was envious. Mr. Xiao, you live even more comfortably than our Domain Lord. The Secretary General gave a thumbs up. Xiao Ye waved his hand impatiently and said, lead the way, I'm not in the mood for this nonsense. Cheng Binxi and the other beast girls spoke up, Uncle, lead the way quickly. You old man, just lead the way when I tell you to. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Hurry up, or Xiao Ye will kill you. The Secretary General looked bitter. Since that's the case, then I'll lead the way. The Domain Lord may really be going to perish. Alice, Those sovereign realm generals may not be a match for us. Our Xie Ye Emperor Star will likely suffer huge casualties and losses. We are all beings from the beast hunting star field. We should unite as one and fight against external enemies. There's no need for this internal strife, Alice. He pondered for a moment. He abruptly turned his head, his eyes gleaming, and a powerful aura of fearlessness erupted from his body. Xiao Ye frowned and said coldly, "What, you want to stop us? Then you might as well die and go with War God Hong." The gazes of the many beast girls grew cold. The Secretary General was from the Xie Ye Emperor Star Camp, ultimately an outsider. This Secretary General's character was not bad, but since he was on the opposing side, he still had to be killed. But who knew? The Secretary General clasped his hands and suddenly knelt on one knee, his voice firm and powerful. "Mr. Xiao, please take me as your servant. I voluntarily acknowledge you as my master." A master-servant's contract filled with mysterious runes rose from his body and floated towards Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye and the many beast girls were stunned. A master-servant contract? The Secretary General actually wanted to be a servant. Judging from his posture just now, they thought he wanted to desperately stop them, threatening to die. Xiao Ye looked at the master-servant's contract. The content stated that Xie Hong was a servant, serving his master Xiao Ye for all eternity, and his soul was branded. Once he gave his permission, Secretary General Xie Hong would become a completely subservient servant under his control. The many beast girls wore strange expressions. Was this a declaration of loyalty? Xiao Ye asked in surprise. "We won't kill you. What's your reason for doing this?" Secretary General Xie Hong said bitterly, "Master, if I lead you to Xie Ye Emperor Star to kill the Domain Lord, it means I've betrayed you. The Domain Lord will surely perish at your hands, and Master will replace him as the new Star Lord of the beast hunting star field. As Secretary General, I've served the Domain Lord my whole life, and serving Master is no different. I only hope that Master won't go on a killing spree on Xie Ye Emperor Star, but only eliminate those related to the Domain Lord." Xiao Ye stroked his chin. What this man said made some sense, but he wasn't keen on taking in servants. The deity spoke. "Husband, Xie Hong is a loyal dog. For the next 100 years, this Secretary General will also wholeheartedly serve the people." Secretary General Xie Hong looked at her gratefully, knelt down, and clasped his hands, saying, "Master, please take me as your servant. From this day forward, Xie Hong will only be loyal to you." Xiao Ye pondered for a moment, nodded, and agreed. After checking that the master servant's contract was in order, he separated a wisp of his divine soul and merged it into the contract. In an instant, the contract was established, and the supreme rules split into two orbs of light and entered the bodies of the two. At this moment, Xiao Ye felt that he could kill Xie Hong with a single thought, could sense Xie Hong's good and evil, and could seal and imprison his entire realm, spiritual power, and divine soul with a thought. The group immediately set off for the main star of the Xie Ye star system in the beast hunting star region, the Xie Ye Emperor Star. The Secretary General invited Xiao Ye into the dragon-shaped chariot. This dragon is incredibly fast, capable of traversing the cosmos at the speed of light. We'll arrive in a few hours. This is the Secretary General's personal chariot. It is now yours, Master, he declared loyally. Xiao Ye waved his hand. Light speed? Too slow. Give me the coordinates of the Xie Ye Emperor Star. Secretary General Xie Hong gave the coordinates, somewhat puzzled. Lightspeed slow? But the ancestral empress's sovereign realm divine power, spatial teleportation, ultra-long-distance spatial teleportation, was activated. A flash of white light appeared before everyone's eyes, and the next instant, they arrived outside a colossal planet stretching across the cosmos. The Secretary General's expression was blank. Well, in the madam's eyes, light speed was indeed slow. Even at its fastest, light couldn't compare to the speed of a space-based cultivator. Xie Ye Emperor Star ahead. Please stop and show your passes. The Thunder God-faced, hairy-mouthed monkey general guard in the Xie Ye Emperor Star blocked their path. This was a fortress. Many interstellar ships around it had to pass through a series of orderly checks before entering Xie Ye Imperial Star. General Monkey looked grave. The auras emanating from these people were profound and powerful, giving him a sense of dread facing a formidable enemy. Secretary General Xie Hong approached and reprimanded, "General Stone Monkey, these are distinguished guests of my Xie Ye Imperial Star. How dare you intercept them?" General Stone Monkey's pupils contracted, and he clasped his hands in greeting. "Greetings, Secretary General. Since these are distinguished guests, I will let them pass. Sir, esteemed guests, please. The Secretary General, representing the Domain Lord, was outside. Even the 10 generals had to bow. The Secretary General snorted coldly. General Stone Monkey personally led Xiao Ye and the group of beast girls smoothly through the planetary fortress, clasping his hands in greeting. Secretary General, esteemed guests, please proceed. Under General Stone Monkey's gaze, the Secretary General led Xiao Ye and the others into Xiao Ye Imperial Star. He exclaimed, the Domain Lord's connections are growing stronger. These people are clearly elites from the Starry Sky clan. My Xiao Ye Emperor Star has a bright future. Little did he know, Xiao Ye had come to kill the Domain Lord. Chapter 643 Entering the Emperor Star, the Domain Lord dies. On the Purple Star Imperial Star, majestic palaces stand tall on the earth. The buildings are magnificent, like solidified stars, exuding a breathtaking solemnity and splendor. At the highest point of the Imperial Star, there is a colossal city of a divine dragon sword, rising from the ground like a divine sword piercing through everything. Huge transparent energy shields surround the sword, like layers of invisible barriers, isolating it from the noise and commotion of the outside world. Outside the divine dragon sword body city, Secretary General Sheng Wenhong respectfully said, Master, this divine dragon sword body city is a supreme treasure city at the dominator level, combining both offensive and defensive capabilities. Legend has it that wielding this supreme treasure sword makes one invincible within the dominator realm. That lowly Domain Lord may very well have already mastered the supreme treasure sword. We must be careful this time. Xiao Ye waved his hand, it's alright. What does offensive and defensive capabilities matter? Within time, within space, within destiny, within reincarnation. The ancestral empress was filled with murderous intent. We are invincible within the dominator realm, incomparable to any external treasure. This time, I will personally slay the Domain Lord. The Secretary General was astonished. Not only was Master Xiao Ye unconcerned, but all the ladies also felt there was nothing to worry about. Alright, then please follow me, Master and ladies. He straightened his expression and led Xiao Ye and the many beast girls into the divine dragon sword body city. With the Secretary General's authority, they bypassed heavily guarded patrols and inspection teams, heading straight for the Domain Lord's main hall deep within the Imperial Palace. Upon entering the Domain Lord's main hall, the deepest part of the divine dragon sword body, the Secretary General reassigned the guards and issued a notice, important conversation between the Domain Lord and distinguished guests. No one is allowed to enter for 1 month, otherwise, death will be the only punishment. Boom. The hall doors slammed shut, airtight. The Secretary General led Xiao Ye to the Domain Lord's resting area. From outside, they could hear indescribable sounds emanating from inside. Several women were pleading, cursing, and condemning. Yang Bai, I'll cooperate. Please don't kill me. I'm an only child, I can't die. Lord Domain Master, to be favored by you, even death would be worthwhile. Yang Bai, you actually cultivate the devouring demon art that absorbs the essence of others. You deserve a terrible death. Yang Bai, most of us are daughters of generals. Our fathers will definitely storm the palace and kill you when they find out. The rough male voice laughed arrogantly, you've got personality, I like it. Let's do it again. The secretary's face flushed and paled in turns. He already knew the Domain Master's character, but today he even targeted a general's daughter. A beast, truly a beast. Xiao Ye's expression was strange, this Domain Master was even more cunning than him. The ancestral empress snorted coldly, her eyes icy and disgusted. Thankfully, she hadn't been forcibly captured, otherwise, one of the people inside might have been her. Bang! The ancestral empress kicked open the bedroom door, stepping in first and shouting, Beast! In broad daylight, how dare you treat your own people like this? You deserve to die. Her shout, imbued with the divine power of special tremor, exploded like thunder in the ears of everyone in the room. The Domain Lord, his veins bulging and a long scar on his face, paled instantly. He hurriedly dressed, pushed aside the woman beside him, sat on the bed, and roared with stern authority, Who are you? Why have you trespassed into my imperial palace? HMPH. The ancestral empress didn't waste words, unleashing the pressure of a 4th-level mythical ruler. The Domain Lord also released the pressure of a 10th-level ruler to clash with her. But his pressure was like an egg hitting a rock before the ancestral empress's, utterly fragile. The ancestral empress's pressure swept over him like a tumbleweed. Boom. The domain lord felt as if he had been struck by 10,000 trucks, spitting out blood with a thud. His face paled in horror, his body hunched over like a shrimp, and he exclaimed in shock, "Such a powerful 4th-level Dominator Realm expert, which super genius of the Starry Sky clan are you? I, Yang Bai, have never offended you. Why bother with other people's business?" The Ancestral Empress sneered, her eyes practically overflowing with disgust. The Secretary General, Xiao Ye, and numerous beast girls entered the bedroom. Xiao Ye frowned, the air here was unbearably foul. "Your Majesty, just kill him. This place is too stinky." The Ancestral Empress nodded, about to make her move. The Domain Lord roared in fury, "The Empress? Secretary General, who is she? Which Empress among the myriad races of the Starry Sky? Quickly summon the generals and capture this vixen." The Secretary General remained expressionless. "This is the Ancestral Empress. Yang Bai, you have been licentious and neglected state affairs today. You should abdicate." The Domain Lord's eyes widened. The Ancestral Empress? It was actually the Ancestral Empress. He picked at his ear. Impossible. The Ancestral Empress is merely a minor emperor in a small star system. How could she be such a powerful sovereign realm super genius? "Secretary General, are you plotting a rebellion, uttering such treasonous words?" The Secretary General ignored him, respectfully cupping his fists to Xiao Ye and saying, "Please, Master, execute this person, annihilate his soul and spirit. Yang Bai is not qualified to continue as the Domain Lord." Xiao Ye waved his hand. "Empress, it's up to you." The Ancestral Empress nodded. "Rule divine powers, spatial lockdown, spatial shielding, spatial annihilation, spatial soul imprisonment." 3 profound and unfathomable sovereign realm divine powers descended. This imperial palace was sealed off, this bedroom was shielded. All the sentient souls here gradually turned into nickel dust. Yang Bai panicked. His entire body was imprisoned. The once incomparably powerful 10th-level sovereign realm cultivator could now not exert any power at all. His realm, energy, spiritual power, soul power, and divine powers were all imprisoned. He was shocked. You can't possibly be the primordial empress. Such combat power is beyond the reach of even the young masters of the myriad races of the Starry Sky. Your Excellency, what have I done to offend you? I apologize, I kowtow in apology, please don't kill me. The Domain Lord was terrified, afraid he would die in the bedroom. But the primordial empress and the others watched coldly. Just 1/10,000th of a millisecond later, the Domain Lord's soul was completely annihilated, but his body remained intact. He lay on the woman curled up on the bed, his eyes lifeless, his soul gone, only a shell remaining. Xiao Ye waved his hand, activating the time reversal rule. Time factors rippled out, reversing time here to 10 minutes earlier. Except for the Domain Lord's personal time. The group disappeared. A gasp of surprise came from the bedroom. Dead. The Domain Lord is dead. He died of a sudden stroke. Ha ha ha, good riddance. Practicing demonic arts, such a crooked path. Why, I hadn't even been favored by the Domain Lord yet, otherwise, my death would have been worthwhile. These exclamations came from the bedroom. In the main hall, the Ancestral Empress beamed with joy, saying, "This Domain Lord is too weak. A few of my divine powers were enough to defeat him." The Secretary General was ashamed. It wasn't that the Domain Lord was too weak, it was that you were too strong. A Domain Lord with only near mythical level talent was inherently several levels weaker than you, who possessed mythical level talent. Xiao Ye glanced around and said calmly, "Secretary General, Xie Imperial Star cannot be without a Domain Lord for even a day. Now that the Domain Lord is dead, you will take over. Do you have the ability?" The Secretary General knelt down, overjoyed, and said, "That lowly Domain Lord neglected state affairs. Xie Imperial Star and the Beast Hunting Star domain were originally under my management, but I only managed them because of the Domain Lord's authority. Now that the Domain Lord is dead, it's naturally the easiest time for me to take over. But Master, don't you want to be the Domain Lord?" Chapter 644 Is Mu Kingsu the Time Empress? Xiao Ye shook his head. He wasn't interested in the position of Domain Lord. Becoming Domain Lord would mean dealing with the affairs of the Beast Hunting Starfield, creating unnecessary trouble. He'd rather keep a dog, let Shangwen Hong be Domain Lord, and he could still enjoy power and benefits no less than a Domain Lord. Clang. Shangwen Hong knelt down, solemnly saying, "Master, Shangwen Hong will certainly live up to your expectations and manage the Beast Hunting Starfield well." From now on, I, Shangguan Hong, am not only the domain lord, but also your loyal servant. If you point east, I will never go west. If you say the Xiao Ye Emperor star will go out, I will never let it shine. Xiao Ye nodded and waved his hand, saying, go, take the domain lord position, and we'll return to the Milky Way. Shangguan Hong asked in surprise, Master, aren't you going to stay on the Xiao Ye Emperor star for a few days? No, the Milky Way is in a turbulent time right now. We can't stay away from the Milky Way for too long. Xiao Ye's eyes flashed with a sharp light. He hadn't forgotten the words of the god of destiny. After the beast hunting star-filled incident, the old man from the welfare home, a condensation of the universe's great will, opened the desolate realm, releasing its aura. The creatures of the desolate realm ravaged Blue Star. This would also attract the attention and invasion of countless races in the starry sky. Blue Star was his home. He couldn't stand by and watch it become a mere territory, used as a toy by countless races. Shangguan Hong understood and didn't try to stop him. Xiao Ye glanced at the group of beast girls, and with a wave of his hand, activated his spatial ruled divine power, spatial teleportation, ultra-long-distance spatial teleportation. A faint flow of rule power circulated, a flash of white light, and only Shangguan Hong remained. Shangguan Hong, as if looking at a god, said, respectfully seeing off Master's return. He knelt for a long time, and when he stood up again, an extremely dense majesty emanated from his body, spreading throughout the entire Xiao Ye Emperor star. At this moment, he was the domain lord, the supreme ruler of this beast hunting star field. After half a day, he successfully ascended to the throne, gaining the support of most generals and rightfully becoming the domain lord, the lord of the star domain. A proclamation was issued by Shangguan Hong. The Milky Way is the most honored ally of Ma Xiao Ye Imperial Star. From now on, whenever you see a creature from the Milky Way, you should treat it with the highest courtesy. Meanwhile, the group of beast girls had returned to Blue Star. Xiao Ye, the ancestral empress, and Mengxuan stood atop the starry sky Great Wall at the edge of the Milky Way. The three of them walked along the majestic, narrow corridor of the starry sky Great Wall towards the main city. The proud young lady Mengxuan's beautiful eyes were filled with awe. The Great Wall stretched as far as the eye could see, surrounded by a dazzling starry sky. At the edge of their vision stood two towering statues that pierced the clouds. Countless ferocious beasts and humans from the Milky Way came here to kneel and offer their most sincere faith. And those two statues were meticulously crafted in the likeness of Xiao Ye and the ancestral empress. The statue of Xiao Ye held up a towering palace in one hand, the other behind his back. His eyes gazing at the starry sky with unfathomable depth. The statue of the ancestral empress, on the other hand, was majestic, with a slender figure. Mengxuan couldn't help but feel a little envious. Why was the statue next to Xiao Ye not her, Mengxuan, but the ancestral empress? The ancestral empress seemed relaxed, and chuckled, Human Emperor, this starry sky Great Wall is a massive array. We can refine it into a barrier array that integrates offense and defense, covering the entire Milky Way. In the future, if foreign invaders invade, we will have a means of defense. Xiao Ye pondered for a moment and felt that what she said made sense. Then let's work together, using materials and restrictions to refine a barrier array that integrates offense and defense, covering the Milky Way. A Dominator Realm Array. Mengxuan hurriedly spoke up, Xiao Ye, I will also lend a hand. Don't forget, I am a Dominator Realm level 10 with a time attribute. Xiao Ye smiled faintly, together. At this moment, he alone possessed more than 10 attributes. The system encompasses attributes such as time, space, the 5 elements, thunder, ice, destiny, life, destruction, reincarnation, illusion, supreme power, devouring, and creation. The time attribute master level rules and divine abilities can reverse, reset, pause, and fast forward time. For an individual, it can reverse time by 600,000 years or accelerate time by 10,000 times. On a large scale, it can reverse time by hundreds of years. Space attribute rules and divine abilities can instantly obliterate a star system and create one's own alternate dimension. Life attribute rules and divine abilities can strip any living being of their lifespan or bring them back to life. Reincarnation attribute rules and divine abilities can instantly reincarnate a master level being into the animal realm. Destiny attribute rules and divine abilities can control the fate of any living being. Illusion attribute rules and divine abilities allow the body and soul to transcend the universe, transforming oneself into nothingness, the ultimate version of invisibility skills, and can instantly transform a star field into a real illusion, pulling living beings into the illusion. His devouring attribute was also terrifying. He could transform into a black hole, capable of devouring anything, a true perpetual motion machine. He could now achieve eternal existence, immortal and indestructible. Of course, this was only true if he didn't encounter a powerful enemy above the sovereign realm, otherwise, it would be a different story. The three walked along the starry sky Great Wall corridor, heading towards the procession. It was General Kanglong, the guardian of the starry sky Great Wall, inspecting it. When General Kanglong saw Xiao Ye and his companions, his pupils contracted, and respect and awe appeared on his face. He knelt on one knee and respectfully said, "Greetings, human emperor." "Greetings, empress. I failed to greet you immediately. I am guilty and should commit suicide." He was filled with guilt and self-reproach. His fin transformed into a blade of light, which he plunged directly into his heart. With a soft spurt, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Feeling his life slipping away, his expression relaxed, as if he had atoned for his sins. The human emperor and empress were the highest faiths of the Milky Way. To neglect these two supreme leaders was a sin. The ancestral empress's lips twitched. She pointed a finger, sealing his injuries, and said speechlessly, "What crime have you committed? Don't go looking for trouble." Xiao Ye and Mu Qingsu looked strange. "Your Majesty, is this a rule you said before? Those who don't come to greet you must harm themselves." The ancestral empress's face flushed red, and she spat, "Don't misunderstand me. I don't have the leisure to set such a rule. It's probably a rule these generals themselves made." Xiao Ye's expression changed, his eyes flashing with a sharp light that enveloped the Azure Dragon General, who was only at the quasi-emperor realm perfection. Time within the Azure Dragon General gradually rewound, returning to before his injury. The Azure Dragon General was shocked and knelt down, saying, This is the power of time. Your Majesty, you actually control time. Thank you for saving my life, Your Majesty. I have no way to repay you." He knelt down to express his gratitude. Xiao Ye raised his hand, a gentle force lifting him to his feet. His tone was unquestionable, "Come with us to the main city." What kind of morbid rules are these? They're utterly unreasonable. General Kanglong trembled. Yes. Time? The ancestral empress's spirits lifted. She secretly glanced at Mu Qingsu a few times. This beast girl looked so much like her sister, the Time Empress, as if they were cut from the same mold. Their personalities were also very similar, both somewhat arrogant. If they hadn't spent so much time together and hadn't had these slight differences in their lifestyles, she would have thought Mu Qingsu as her sister, the Time Empress. Chapter 645 The Time Empress returns. It seems Mu Qingsu and her sister, the Time Empress, have some connection. Sigh. The ancestral empress sighed. She hadn't seen her sister for a long time and didn't know where she was. After advancing to the sovereign realm, her divine sense could instantly cover the entire beast-hunting starfield, but she still couldn't find her sister, the Time Empress. Her sister had probably left the beast-hunting starfield and gone to the depths of space. Before, when she was at the peak of the Emperor realm, she thought her sister, at the starfield realm, was invincible, unmatched in the world. But after advancing to the sovereign realm, she felt an increasing awe for the universe, realizing its unfathomable depths, and that even a sovereign was but an ant. What was this compared to her at the peak of the Emperor realm, like a frog in a well gazing at the moon? Now, at the sovereign realm, she saw this universe as an ant looking at the sky. The more powerful her realm, the more she deeply realized her own insignificance. The three followed General Kanglong's lead, heading towards the newly rebuilt, vast main city, the Milky Way Star City. Along the way, numerous ferocious beasts and humans respectfully bowed to welcome the human emperor and empress. Upon arriving at the main city, Xiao Ye and the ancestor empress sat at the head of the main hall. 20 powerful beast and human generals at the quasi-emperor realm knelt in obeisance. Xiao Ye held a booklet, his face darkening as he read the rules of the Great Wall of the Milky Way. 1. Anyone who neglects, contradicts, slanders, or insults the human emperor and empress shall immediately commit suicide as atonement. 2. The words of the human emperor and empress are the rules. The faith, any disobedience will result in the extermination of their entire family. 3. Every 100 years, each soldier may return to their home planet, bringing back at least 10 elite soldiers to serve as guards of the Great Wall, otherwise, they shall commit suicide or have their entire family exterminated. 4. Every year, The entire army must gather before the sculptures in each city, kneeling and swearing an oath of the most sincere faith. Those who violate this oath will be imprisoned and hanged. 5. Upon the sounding of the alarm during an enemy invasion, all soldiers, regardless of whether they are crippled, have broken legs, fractured bones, or suffer concussions, must immediately serve as cannon fodder unless they are critically wounded and on the verge of death. This is to delay the enemy's advance and await the arrival of our main force for a counterattack. Otherwise, they will be stripped of their qualification to guard the starry sky Great Wall and their souls will be burned alive. 6. Within the Milky Way, anyone who disobeys joining the guard of the starry sky Great Wall will have their entire family executed. 7. Except for the first and second rules, the beings of Earth are not bound by these rules. 8, 9, 10, 1000. Over 10,000 rules in total. Even the lightest punishment for a minor offense is hanging, and the heaviest is the execution of 9 generations of one's family. And the threat of having one's soul burned alive is just too much? Of course, meritorious soldiers will be generously rewarded with promotions, increased opportunities to return home, and cultivation supplies. Great merit even grants a pardon. Xiao Ye frowned. Were these punishments too severe? The rewards too lenient? He put down the booklet and glanced around. The 20-odd beast and human generals in the hall were all at the peak of the quasi-emperor realm, not a single one was at the emperor realm. Their cultivation levels were far too low. He said, you need to continue refining the reward and punishment system. Strict rules are good, but don't go to extremes. Maintain the seriousness of the rules while also retaining some humanity. Discuss the rules in this booklet yourselves and continue to refine them. The 20-odd beast and human generals immediately clasped their fists and said, we will obey the emperor's orders and immediately improve the military regulations. Xiao Ye put the booklet aside and said, next, the Empress and I will refine the starry sky Great Wall into a high-level formation covering the entire Milky Way. While you refine the rules, everything else can remain as before. You 20-odd generals are a bit too low in cultivation level. The fundamental rules of the Milky Way have been opened. You must cultivate diligently and strive to raise your cultivation levels. After giving these instructions, he looked to the side. Empress, is there anything you wish to instruct me on? The ancestral Empress smiled faintly. No, just do as you say. The 3 rose and ascended into the sky above the Milky Way. Looking down, tens of thousands of small galaxies, similar to our solar system, slowly revolved around the giant black hole at the center of the Milky Way. Starlight twinkled, a dazzling array of stars. The starry sky Great Wall is a defensive structure encircling the edge of the Milky Way. Hundreds of subordinate cities stood within the starry sky Great Wall, guarding both the Great Wall and the Milky Way. Let's quickly refine the restrictive barrier, Xiao Ye said, and then took action. One after another, sovereign realm restrictions were cast, attaching themselves to the starry sky Great Wall. The ancestral Empress and Mu Kingsu were not to be outdone, casting their own sovereign realm restrictions, merging them into the starry sky Great Wall, the main city, and the subordinate cities. After several hours of effort, the starry sky Great Wall and the Milky Way became one, forming an impenetrable array barrier. The core link of this barrier was the giant black hole at the center of the Milky Way. The array's eyes were the main city and the various subordinate cities. The barrier has several functions. 1. Healing, spiritual enhancement, and resurrection effects related to life attributes. 2. Soul absorption and reincarnation effects related to reincarnation. 3. Radar-like detection and spatial strangulation effects related to spatial attributes. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. Xiao Ye created a Dominator Realm Intelligent Core and placed it inside the giant black hole, controlling the automatic operation of the array barrier. Meritorious soldiers will receive the array's benefits. Heinous soldiers who violate the rules and commit crimes will be punished, such as being reborn into the animal realm, having their lives terminated, or experiencing a sharp decline in their fortune. This intelligent core will also awaken and open the fundamental rules of various planets, allowing the beings of the Milky Way to cultivate smoothly and raising the overall realm of all beings in the Milky Way. After completing everything, the primordial Empress said with a relaxed expression, with the array barrier in place. We don't need to guard the starry Great Wall all the time like before. The soldiers can also relax more. Mu Kingsu nodded. Although she had never witnessed a starry battlefield, judging from the bloodstains on the starry Great Wall, the battles there must have been incredibly fierce. Suddenly, The three of them had strange expressions. They sensed the outer star domain realm at the edge of the array barrier, attempting to enter the Milky Way. The primordial empress sensed it briefly and exclaimed with delight, "It's my sister, the Time Empress." The three of them flashed and instantly arrived at the array barrier. Within the array barrier, a stunningly beautiful woman, remarkably similar to Mu Qingsu, stood with her hands on her hips, pointing angrily at the barrier and cursing, "What the hell? When did the Milky Way galaxy get a barrier? Even I, a star domain realm cultivator, can't enter. It must be the work of those powerful star races. The Empress and the others are only at the Emperor realm, they couldn't possibly create an array barrier that even I can't break through. Damn those star races. They even dare to invade a poor galaxy like the Milky Way." Humph. It was the Time Empress. The primordial empress, Xiao Ye, and Mu Qingsu appeared beside the Time Empress. The primordial empress said slyly, "Sister, the Milky Way galaxy has been invaded by the star races. We need your help. As a powerful star domain realm cultivator, you should be able to drive away those bad guys, right?" Chapter 646. The Time Empress was shocked. Looking at this stunningly beautiful woman with exquisite features, bright eyes and white teeth, a voluptuous figure, and an ethereal, Xiao Ye and Mu Qingsu are seeing the Time Empress for the first time. Previously, the Time Empress's appearances were shrouded in mystery. Mu Qingsu's mouth dropped open in surprise, her eyes filled with astonishment. This Time Empress looked so much like her. It was as if they were carved from the same mold. That exquisite face, those moist, delicate red lips, that voluptuous figure, that pert bottom, even her angry expression was remarkably similar. If outsiders were here, they might even think they were twin sisters. But Mu Qingsu was the only child of the magic capital base city, her family's lineage less than 20,000 years old, while the Time Empress was a deity who had existed on Blue Star for over 600,000 years. They were not twin sisters at all, with no blood relation whatsoever. Xiao Ye was also somewhat surprised. Why did the Time Empress and Mu Qingsu look so alike? The Time Empress took the first Empress's teasing seriously. Her face turned solemn as she shielded Xiao Ye and the other two behind her, her voice heavy. "Tell me about the current situation on Blue Star. Don't worry, I will help everyone reclaim Blue Star and drive those invaders out of the Milky Way." The first Empress suddenly became sorrowful. "Sister, those bad guys have slaughtered all the humans and gods on Blue Star. If we hadn't escaped with our treasures, we would probably have perished on Blue Star too. They've also seized all the fundamental rules of our Blue Star, including the fundamental rules of time. Sister, please quickly lead us to break through this array barrier and avenge us." Xiao Ye and Mu Qingsu were astonished. Was the first Empress possessed by a theatrical genius? The Time Empress took it seriously, looking troubled. "This matter requires careful consideration. We will definitely reclaim Blue Star, but currently, I can't break through the formation and enter the Milky Way." The primordial empress feigned surprise. "Oh dear, sister, you can't enter the Milky Way either? You're a powerful star domain realm expert." The Time Empress sighed. "Star domain realm is strong compared to you, but in the universe, it's still weaklings." She exclaimed, "This formation barrier is probably a super barrier set up by a sovereign realm expert. With such a powerful expert, they wouldn't be unknown in the starry sky. I can't compare to them." Xiao Ye was speechless. "Your Majesty, don't tease her." Mu Qingsu covered her mouth and chuckled. "Time Empress, actually, this barrier was set up by the three of us." The primordial empress chuckled. "Alright, since the Milky Way and Blue Star weren't invaded by foreign races, I was just teasing you." Empress Time looked on suspiciously, her gaze scrutinizing the three for a few seconds before she said strangely, "You are indeed the Empress, the human emperor, and humans from Blue Star, not imposters from the Star Clan. Why are you spouting nonsense?" The primordial empress simply pulled Empress Time into the barrier, officially stepping into the outer circle of the Milky Way. Then she pulled Empress Time back outside the array barrier. The array barrier was like a transparent light curtain, seemingly indestructible, yet the two of them easily moved back and forth. Hiss. Empress Time looked incredulous, gently poking the array barrier with her finger. But her finger passed right through it without being blocked. Her beautiful eyes widened, and she gasped. "Empress, human emperor, what's going on?" Her mind was filled with questions. They went out into the depths of space for a fight, and upon returning to the Milky Way, they possessed an array barrier at the sovereign realm level? This barrier was crafted by the Empress and the human Emperor. This was a sovereign realm array barrier, not an Emperor realm one. The primordial Empress was extremely pleased with herself, proudly raising her swan-like neck. To outsiders, she was a powerful and majestic Empress, but before the time Empress, she was just a fledgling, inexperienced little sister. Ha, sister, can you see through her cultivation levels? Xiao Ye shook his head. The Empress actually had such a wicked sense of humor. The time Empress's beautiful eyes swept over the three of them, then she suddenly exclaimed in surprise, I can't see through them. Your cultivation levels are like being shrouded in mist. I can only sense that you are extremely powerful, but I can't discern your specific levels. Also, why does this woman from Blue Star look so much like me? The primordial Empress released her aura, a deafening roar echoing as the pressure of the sovereign realm spread throughout the entire beast-hunting star field. The time Empress collapsed onto the starry sky, her face filled with shock. The sovereign realm. She was actually at the sovereign realm. Wasn't the primordial Empress only at the perfected Emperor realm? In just half a month, she had broken through from the perfected Emperor realm to the sovereign realm? Wait, this appearance? The Empress has already lost her virginity. Has the Empress already become the human Emperor's wife? The primordial Empress withdrew her oppressive aura and boasted, Sister, we're both at the sovereign realm now. The primordial Empress, have also become the human Emperor's wife? The time Empress's expression showed shock for a few seconds, but she quickly regained her composure. Marrying the human Emperor was perfectly normal for her cultivation level to rise so quickly. The human Emperor was the dominant force in this universe. A hint of longing appeared deep in her eyes. Admiring strength was a human trait possessed by both humans and gods, and she, the time Empress, was no exception. Now that the primordial Empress had married the human Emperor, she, the time Empress, had to latch onto this powerful figure. Human Emperor, do you have any plans to take another divine wife? She was about to ask when she saw the time-based power naturally emanating from Mu Qingsu and stopped herself. This beautiful woman, who looked very similar to her, was most likely a time attribute powerhouse of the sovereign realm. The human Emperor already had Mu Qingsu, would he still be interested in her, the time Empress? Xiao Ye raised an eyebrow. What's wrong? The time Empress's lips curled into a bitter smile. Nothing. It was best not to ask directly about such matters, she needed to put in the effort. The primordial Empress noticed something and said, Sister, I will help you. You don't need to be too anxious. The time Empress's beautiful eyes lit up, and she nodded. Xiao Ye and Mu Qingsu felt puzzled. Xiao Ye asked, Time Empress, your aura is disordered, and your origin is weak. What have you been doing? The time Empress gritted her teeth and said, I went out to fight. But I was no match for her and was defeated, so I fled back. That crazy woman, I will definitely defeat her myself and make her submit to my feet. Forget about that. I saw in the river of time that Blue Star will undergo a great change. During this time, have you noticed anything unusual? A great change for Blue Star? Xiao Ye's expression turned serious. Mu Qingsu used her rule-based divine power, predicting the future. She waved her hand, and a large screen appeared in front of everyone. On the screen, desolate, dilapidated, and decaying scenes appeared. A corrupting principle emerged from somewhere on Earth, and all those who came into contact with its aura, humans, beasts, living beings, and deities, would succumb to decay, becoming mindless beasts. One by one, Earth-space cities were enveloped by the aura of this corrupting principle, and one by one, they were destroyed. Chapter 647 The Dean appears, the cosmic will condensed. One after another, incredibly powerful wild beasts emerged from the desolate realm, wreaking havoc on Blue Star. Seeing these scenes, the four people present became serious. This was a crisis for Blue Star. The ancestral queen analyzed, those destroyed base cities seem to be those of Blue Star's lesser-known cities and some western countries, but not those of the Dragon Kingdom. Why is that? Mu Qingsu waved her hand, foreseeing a change in the scene. On the large screen, the location shifted to the future of the Dragon Kingdom. The entire country was shrouded in a towering tree, emanating the source of life in an unfathomable aura. The corrupt laws within the Dragon Kingdom were purified, and the Dragon Kingdom's base cities flourished, showing no signs of pollution. The incredibly powerful wild beasts, however, all concentrated their attacks on the Dragon Kingdom's base cities, instead of attacking other countries. The primordial queen's expression was strange. This towering tree, my sister and I seem to have seen it somewhere before. The Time Empress's beautiful eyes lit up. It's the world tree that grows on the black hole of the Milky Way. The world tree? Xiao Ye was slightly startled. As far as he knew, this world tree was planted on the black hole by his Grandmaster Dean, and the opening of the desolate realm was also his doing. And the Grandmaster Dean's identity was the embodiment of the great will of this universe. The reason he, Xiao Ye, transmigrated to this blue star was also due to the Grandmaster Dean's actions, and he even cared for him until he grew up. But why did the Grandmaster Dean send him to this blue star, and why did he release the creatures of the desolate realm? What was the Grandmaster Dean's purpose? A cloud of mystery swirled in Xiao Ye's mind, impossible to dispel. He activated his time-ruled divine power, timeline travel, freely travel between the past and present. He transformed into an observer and entered the past. He saw his former grandfather, the former child Xiao Ye, now grown up. No matter how he peered into the old man's body, he couldn't discern anything unusual. This old man from the orphanage was no different from any other elderly man. Xiao Ye, having found the answer he sought, withdrew his divine power. But just then, as he withdrew his power, the old man's eyes suddenly gleamed. In a flash. Before Xiao Ye, the primordial empress, Mengxuan, and the time empress appeared a kind-faced, hunched-over, white-haired old man. Xiao Ye's eyes widened, and he cried out, "Grandpa!" The time empress, the primordial empress, and Mengxuan's pupils constricted. In their eyes, this old man was no different from an ordinary person. Their divine sense scan revealed nothing, as if he had never appeared. He could only be seen with the naked eye. The old director's face broke into a kind smile, and he said with satisfaction, "Xiao Ye, you've grown up, and you've taken quite a few wives. Very good, you haven't forgotten what Grandpa told you, taking in a few more beast girls will do you good." Xiao Ye was a little flustered and said, "Grandpa, you've finally appeared." Mengxuan, the ancestral queen, asked in surprise, "This old man, are you the old man from the orphanage?" Xiao Ye's grandpa. The old director nodded gently, "That's me. However, shouldn't you change how you address him?" Mengxuan, the ancestral queen, understood and called out sweetly, "Grandpa." "Good morning, Grandpa, have you eaten?" The old director looked at the time empress. "Little girl, what about you? Why don't you call me Grandpa?" The time empress was taken aback and pointed to herself. "Me? Oh, okay, good morning, Grandpa." She wasn't Xiao Ye's wife yet. The old director nodded with satisfaction and smiled, his wrinkled face blooming like a chrysanthemum. He rummaged through the pockets of his old, patched but clean clothes, a look of embarrassment on his face. He said awkwardly, "The old man is getting on in years, and I came in a hurry. I don't have any treasures to give my granddaughters-in-law." Xiao Ye waved her hand. "Grandpa, why bother with gifts? No need. I'm just happy to see you again." Mengxuan, the primordial queen, and the time empress also waved their hands, indicating they didn't need anything. The old dean's deep-set eyes widened. "Yes, they're all my granddaughters-in-law, I must give them a gift." He pondered for a moment, then his eyes lit up. "I've got it. A few epochs ago, I planted a sapling on the black soil. That sapling is growing well now, go and get it. That sapling will be helpful to you. It's on the black hole at the center of the Milky Way." The time empress, the primordial queen, and Mengxuan were astonished. That strange, towering ancient tree growing on the black hole was actually planted by the old dean. A few epochs ago? The three of them had strange expressions. The old dean was no ordinary man. No wonder Xiao Ye is so awesome, it turns out he has the dean's backing. Ahem. Xiao Ye stepped forward and complained, "Old man, I know you're going to open the desolate realm, and that world tree will be used to purify the desolate realm's laws. I just want to ask, is it necessary for the desolate realm to be opened?" The dean stood with his hands behind his back, looking unfathomable, his eyes deep, and said, "It must be opened. This is related to your true background. Those trash have already taken what belongs to you. You need to take everything back yourself." Xiao Ye was shocked. "My background? What background? Wasn't he just a transmigrator who came from Earth? On this blue planet, he hadn't sensed any humans with blood ties to him." The old dean smiled meaningfully. "You're still too weak, it's not the right time for you to know everything. When you reach a certain level, everything will naturally be revealed." He stroked Xiao Ye's tousled hair and said gently, "Child, having more wives will be good for you. Grandpa's leaving. Old man, explain yourself. Xiao Ye tried to grab him, but grasped only air. The old dean had already left. HMPH, I don't believe I can't find you. He used his time law ability, traversing timelines, again. From an observer's perspective, he returned to the moment before. Huh? He was shocked. The old dean who was just standing there was gone. He, the primordial empress, the time empress, and Mengxuan seemed to be talking to thin air. Retracting his ability, Xiao Ye stroked his chin, deeply shaken. The old dean had transcended the timeline, beyond time and space, destiny, cause and effect, reincarnation? Was this the power of the condensed will of this universe? The primordial queen waved her delicate white hand in front of Xiao Ye. Human emperor, Grandpa has left. Who is our grandpa? He seems very powerful. Mengxuan and the time empress also looked over, very curious. Xiao Ye stated directly, the condensed will of this universe. The three stunningly beautiful women gasped, their eyes widening. Holy crap, he's so awesome. Terrifying, terrifyingly powerful. We're too good for him. They had guessed that the dean's grandfather was powerful, but they never expected him to be so terrifying. Ahem. Xiao Ye smiled calmly, calm down, no matter what his identity is, he's still my grandfather. Let's go transplant a world tree. That toothless old man might be up to no good. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 648. The world tree is in hand, the desolate realm is open. A toothless old man? The primordial empress was shocked and quickly covered Xiao Ye's mouth, saying cautiously, Human emperor, be careful what you say. That's a condensed form of the universe's will, he deserves the respect he deserves. If you say that, be careful he gets angry. The time empress and Mengxuan also nodded seriously, yes, loose lips sink ships, be careful what you say. Xiao Ye scratched his head, nonchalantly saying, that's what I always called him when I was with the old man. He was happy to accept it. Don't overthink it, that's just how the old man and I get along. The primordial empress, the time empress, and Mengxuan had strange expressions. The way the grandfather and grandson interacted was too odd. It didn't seem like a normal grandfather and grandson at all. Xiao Ye curled his lip. His background was related to the desolate realm? His grandfather opened the desolate realm, actually for him, Xiao Ye. Let's go find the world tree. Who knows when the old man will open the desolate realm and release its creatures. The primordial queen and Mengxuan each took one of Xiao Ye's hands and set off for the black hole at the center of the Milky Way. The time empress looked at her own fair hands and wanted to join them, but she lacked a proper reason. After learning that the human emperor's grandfather was the embodiment of the great will of this universe, she deeply realized that she had to latch onto the human emperor's powerful backer. However, her current cultivation level was only at the star domain realm, inferior to the human emperor's, so she couldn't become his protector. Therefore, she could only become his wife. The four of them teleported to the central region of the Milky Way. This region appeared to be completely empty, without a single star. But a sweep of their divine senses revealed a black sphere, compressed to its extreme, floating at the center, emitting a powerful suction force that even light couldn't escape. Reflected light arcs seen with the naked eye were absorbed, making it invisible to the naked eye. However, to the naked eye, a colossal tree stood before them, its growth incredibly lush and towering, its size comparable to the entire dragon kingdom. Its verdant leaves emanated the primal aura of various elemental rules. Droplets of mist like water clung to the leaves, exuding an intensely concentrated life force. The mist surrounding the lush green leaves also emanated an intensely concentrated aura of destruction. The tree's thick trunk radiated streams of temporal and spatial rules. To approach this tree, one's cultivation level must be at least at the peak of the Emperor realm, otherwise, one would be caught in the black hole section and unable to escape. Yet, Xiao Ye, the primordial empress, Mengxuan, and the time empress, standing before the world tree, sensed something amiss. Is this really the world tree? Why does it feel like it only has form but no spirit, like an empty shell? I sensed it too. This tree looks lush, possessing the aura of various fundamental rules, But these auras seem to be just our illusions, lacking the true effect of fundamental rules. It's like a soulless shell, while the soul is the core of various fundamental rules. The four examined the world tree with suspicion. A true world tree is a world in a single leaf. A single world tree is an entire universe, containing complete laws of the great Tao, with countless small, medium, and large worlds. A fully formed world tree can even be considered a multiverse. Just then, Xiao Ye sensed a faint call from the world tree. A magnificent light flashed, and the world tree's enormous body automatically leaped out of the black hole, its roots detaching completely. Above the black hole, the massive tree body suddenly shrank, transforming into a palm-sized miniature version, automatically shooting into Xiao Ye's hand. The world tree exuded a welcoming aura. Xiao Ye felt that he and the world tree shared the same origin, as if the world tree was his body. He could manipulate the branches and leaves of the world tree at will. Hiss, it shrank, and automatically popped out. Wow, this tree looks cute. I hadn't noticed before, but the aura of this tree is somewhat similar to that of the human emperor. The ancestral empress, Mengxuan, and the time empress were extremely surprised. Xiao Ye nodded and said, I feel that this tree is me, and I am this tree, we share the same origin. But why? Aren't I human? Mengxuan suddenly said, Xiao Ye, you can see the defects in human templates, try to see if you can see the defects in the world tree. Perhaps you can see its relationship with you. Reminded, Xiao Ye understood. He opened the template adjuster's detection function, name, body defect, solution, detection failed. This item's level is higher than the template adjuster. Upon receiving the feedback, Xiao Ye was dumbfounded. Unable to detect anything, this is the first time in history. Its level is even higher than the template adjuster, which is at the level of the Great Tao origin. This world tree's level is even higher than the Great Tao origin? What level is that? Xiao Ye shook his head. If he couldn't detect it, so be it. He would figure everything out about this world tree sooner or later. Mengxuan was astonished. Your expression, you haven't found the flaw? Your ancestral secret technique isn't working? Xiao Ye nodded. The ancestral queen was also very surprised. The human emperor could see the flaws in the bodies of gods, yet this tree couldn't see through them. The time empress analyzed, this tree was planted by the human emperor's grandfather. This tree must be extraordinary, it's understandable that the human emperor couldn't see anything. Wait? Xiao Ye waved his hand. He discovered that his divine sense could freely roam within the world tree. The world tree seemed to receive favor, its lush branches swaying joyfully. Xiao Ye's divine sense wandered, discovering that this world tree was indeed an empty shell, possessing only the appearance of a world tree but lacking its substance. Within each leaf lay only the rudimentary form of a world, a hazy gray expanse, not yet fully formed. The countless attribute rules and origins were also merely superficial, like illusions, lacking any substantial source of rules. Yet, a realization dawned on Xiao Ye. Information automatically appeared in his mind. A world tree sprouts and grows from the core of a universe as a seed. This world tree, however, was formed from a destroyed core of a universe, missing certain elements, planted on a black hole. This core was lacking many things, taken away by others. For the world tree to become a true world tree, those things needed to be retrieved to nourish it and mend its foundation. Recalling his grandfather's words, there were things in the desolate realm that he, Xiao Ye, needed to personally retrieve. Those things originally belonged to him. The desolate realm was still the desolate realm. The desolate realm and the world tree were still deeply connected. Xiao Ye took a deep breath and said, now that we have the world tree, let's go back to Blue Star. That old man might open the desolate realm soon. But at this moment, the ancestral queen's expression turned strange. Many ominous, decaying, and dilapidated auras are rising from Blue Star. That desolate realm might have already been opened? Xiao Ye's face darkened, and he cursed, damn it, that toothless old man didn't even give us a moment. Was he in such a hurry? Chapter 649 Planting the World Tree, The Mystery of Mengxuan's Background. Old man with the missing teeth, next time I see you, I'll pluck out all your white beard and strip you clean. The primordial empress, Mengxuan, and the time empress were shocked. How dare the human emperor? He was a condensed form of the great will of the universe. Xiao Ye's face was gloomy. He disliked this passive feeling, as if his life was being controlled by someone, being pushed to do this or that. And the dean was the mastermind behind all this. HMPH. Let's go back to Blue Star. Xiao Ye raised his hand, and a faint spatial power spread out like ripples on water. The next moment, the scene before everyone's eyes changed, and they appeared in the Mengxuan base city. At this moment, the highest alert sounded in the Mengxuan base city. This alert indicated that the base city's foundation was threatened, representing that the base city had entered a state of full preparedness. Cheng Bingxi and Nangong Xiao appeared beside Xiao Ye, their expressions grave. Xiao Ye, a major upheaval has occurred on Blue Star. The wild magical beasts have all gone mad, seemingly losing their minds, attacking various base cities indiscriminately. A corrupt and ominous aura storm has instantly swept across the globe. Many citizens in our base cities have also lost their minds, becoming extremely brutal like wild beasts, killing anyone they see. The Dragon Kingdom, with us beast girls guarding it, is relatively fortunate, able to control the magical beasts and humans infected by the ominous aura. But in other countries, many base cities have become battlefields for wild beasts. Xiao Ye's divine sense spread out. All the base cities in the Dragon Kingdom appeared in his mind. Some humans suddenly erupted, their eyes bloodshot, betraying their allies. Many docile magical beasts suddenly became extremely ferocious, breaking through the base city's defenses and launching a full-scale attack. Under the suppression of the Dominator Realm beast girls Cheng Bingxi, Nangong Xiao, Qinzi, Yunbing, Yunzai, and others, the magical beasts and humans infected by the ominous aura within the Dragon Kingdom were imprisoned and unable to move. Yet, a steady stream of magical beasts and humans continued to be infected by the ominous aura, succumbing to decay. Outside the Dragon Kingdom, the situation was even more terrifying, especially on the small islands where life was relatively comfortable. Almost the entire population had decayed, infected by the ominous aura storm, turning into mindless beasts that slaughtered those nearby. Other countries might not have been as terrifying, but the situation was not far off. Even the Dominator Realm beast girls could not dispel or eliminate the storm of ominous aura. The source of that ominous aura storm was emanating from the center of the Pacific Ocean, in a location that had shifted after the Desolate Realm's change of position. Whoosh! 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 Many more beast girls appeared around Xiao Ye. Qinzi, Yunbing, Yunzai, Gu Qingcheng, the reincarnation god, Huangfu Xiangling, Zhang Zunan, Liu Yan, and Ziran. All the beast girls arrived, their faces grave and hearts heavy. Let's imprison the entire Dragon Kingdom. Yes, imprison all magical beasts, humans, and magical plants. Xiao Ye, how do we resolve this? This is our homeland, our country. We can't stand idly by. They had tried many methods to dispel and erase the ominous storm, but all had failed. Xiao Ye nodded, raising his hand and pointing. A special rule spread out, instantly engulfing the entire Dragon Kingdom. In an instant, all living beings within the Dragon Kingdom were imprisoned, unable to move. Even those infected by the ominous storm and falling into decay were unable to move. Mu Qingxi activated her time manipulation ability, Time Reversal, attempting to rewind time in the Dragon Kingdom by 1 day. But the next second, her expression changed drastically. For beings infected by the ominous aura, the time manipulation abilities of the Dominator Realm are ineffective. Time cannot be reversed on them. And in areas occupied by the ominous storm, time cannot be reversed either. She blurted out. Upon hearing this, everyone present changed their expressions. The supposedly invincible time manipulation technique had actually failed. Xiao Ye, holding the miniature world tree, calmly said, "Don't panic. The level of that desolate realm is extremely high, and the level of the ominous Dao aura is also extremely high. We are only at the sovereign realm, so it's normal for our rule manipulation techniques to be ineffective. I already have a solution." Hearing this, the many beast girls were overjoyed. Yunbing licked her rosy cheeks. "Xiao Ye, you're amazing. I love how you can solve any problem. After resolving this, I've decided to reward you." Qinzi blushed. I want to reward Xiao Ye too." Huangfu Xiangling rolled her eyes. "You're all just thirsty and want to be satisfied, right? Rewards, my foot." Ziran flicked her disciple's forehead. "Why are you undermining everyone's efforts? I don't believe you don't want to reward Xiao Ye." "What?" Huangfu Xiangling was on the verge of tears. "Of course I want to. Master, can you please stop hitting my head? I'm already a bit slow. If you hit me again, I might become even dumber." Cheng Bingxi rubbed her forehead, her voice booming. "Everyone, be quiet. Xiao Ye won't neglect you. The most urgent task is to resolve the ominous aura storm. Hearing their leader's words, all the beast girls immediately shut up. But their alluring eyes lingered on Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye felt as uneasy as a lamb being stared at by countless hungry wolves. Ahem. Let's go to the orphanage and plant this tree. This tree should be able to purify those ominous storms and restore our dragon kingdom's corrupted beasts and humans to normal. He spoke immediately and turned to leave. Many beast girls curiously followed Xiao Ye to the orphanage. Xiao Ye found an open space and threw the world tree out. The world tree landed on the ground with a loud boom, its size immediately increasing, countless roots automatically burrowing into the ground. The entire orphanage was now occupied by the world tree. The orphanage was gone. At the original entrance of the orphanage, only an incredibly thick tree trunk could be seen, towering into the clouds and breaking through the atmosphere. Its lush, slender trunk spread out, countless branches enveloping the entire dragon kingdom. A faint aura emanated from the world tree. Hiss. 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 The ominous storm sweeping across the dragon kingdom was purified and wiped away as if it had encountered its natural enemy. In milliseconds, all the ominous storms within the dragon kingdom were purified by the world tree's aura. The infected magical beasts, magical plants, humans, and other living beings returned to normal under the influence of the world tree's aura. Xiao Ye and the many beast girls, all at the sovereign realm, were overjoyed to see the changes within the dragon kingdom, their heavy hearts swept away. Xiao Ye raised his hand, and spatial power spread out, restoring the normal functioning of all the imprisoned living beings, magical beasts, magical plants, and everything else within the dragon kingdom. With the imprisonment lifted, the dragon kingdom returned to normal. Mu Qingsu used the time reversal, divine power, reversing time within the entire country by half a day, returning to before the ominous storm swept through. All the humans, magical beasts, and magical plants that had been destroyed or killed within the country returned to normal and were resurrected. But their memories were preserved. The orphanage hadn't disappeared, its entire space had shifted to an open area in the Mengxuan base city. Xiao Ye breathed a sigh of relief. This crisis was resolved. But Mu Qingsu suddenly exclaimed in surprise, "My remnant soul from my previous life has reappeared, and it has even created a completely new body." "Xiao Ye, let's go take a look." The Time Empress was shocked. Mu Qingsu, who looked so much like her, actually had a previous life? Could this be related to her, the Time Empress? Xiao Ye narrowed his eyes and said, "The world tree has been replanted and is currently undergoing a transformation. It needs some time. Let's go take a look." That woman wanted to possess Qingsu's body back then, disappeared for so long, and has finally reappeared. Chapter 650 The Truth About the Relationship Between Mu Qingsu and the Time Empress. After the world tree encountered the aura of decaying Dao principles, a switch in its core was activated, and the entire tree is undergoing a transformation. Xiao Ye guessed that this transformation would take a considerable amount of time. The remnant soul of a Saint Realm expert who had parasitized Mu Qingsu was a wisp of her soul left behind from her previous reincarnation. It had disappeared without a trace and hadn't reappeared. Xiao Ye hadn't bothered with it. But now that the remnant soul had reappeared, he would definitely clean it up. At this moment, deep within the demon cave within the dragon kingdom, a woman with an ugly face, mouth full of black blood, and disheveled hair was devouring the blood and flesh of a supreme realm demonic beast. Her movements were extremely crude, her face contorted in a grotesque grimace, her eyes bulging out, a truly terrifying sight, resembling a crazed demon. But she was overjoyed, laughing arrogantly, "Ha ha ha, I, Mu Yan, have finally been resurrected. My body has been rebuilt, and my soul has been restored to its full potential. So many years have passed, and the days of hiding are finally over. Mu Qingsu, one day, you will die by my hand. I will refine and absorb your soul to enhance the purity of my own." Although her body and soul were complete, they had many flaws. But she believed that as long as she continuously refined and fused with the souls of demonic beasts and humans to perfect herself, and then consumed demonic beast blood to absorb energy, she would soon be able to return to the Holy Realm and personally kill Mu Qingsu. A flash of light. Xiao Ye, the primordial empress, Mu Qingsu, and the Time Empress appeared deep within the demon cave, standing not far from Mu Yan, who was lying on the ground eating. Looking at her beggar-like appearance and her mad behavior like a demon, everyone was stunned. Mu Qingsu's eyes were filled with complex emotions. "This is my remnant soul from my past life? It's turned into such a pathetic state, ugly as hell. I wouldn't say I'd become an emperor, but at least a quasi-emperor, high above, revered and admired. HMPH, you're a disgrace to me. Xiao Ye's lips twitched. The ancestral empress's eyes, however, were filled with surprise. She asked suspiciously, Sister, this person's aura bears a resemblance to yours. Is this your daughter, your child? The Time Empress shook her head. Nonsense. I've lived for millions of years and am still a virgin. Where would I get a child? But this person's soul does indeed have a resemblance to mine. Mu Kingsu asked in surprise. Time Empress, what about me? What is my relationship with you? She and the Time Empress were so alike, both possessing time-related attributes. The Time Empress frowned. I don't know. Maybe I did something stupid in the past. The ancestral empress's eyes widened. What stupid things had she done? Was her sister already corrupted? Empress Time frowned, lost in thought. Where had things gone wrong? A being so similar to her had appeared in the mortal realm. Their conversation wasn't quiet, and it was immediately noticed by the ugly-faced Mu Yan. She raised her face, revealing a blood-stained, grotesque face with bulging, blood-red eyes. Combined with the dim light and foul smell of the demon cave, her appearance was truly terrifying. Mu Yan screamed, her heart filled with hatred, and roared, It's you, Mu Kingsu. And you, Xiao Ye. You've come at the perfect time. Saving me the trouble of searching for you. I'll devour you alive now. The pressure of a quasi-saint realm expert spread out, and a powerful aura rose. Boom. Boom. The demon cave trembled, and sand and stones kept falling from the rock walls, almost collapsing under the pressure of the quasi-saint realm. Xiao Ye and Mu Kingsu had strange expressions. Quasi-saint realm? Too distant a term. A mere quasi-saint dared to attack them? Boom. The ugly Mu Yan raised her hand, unleashing her innate skill. Time Slash, upon hit, inflicts 10,000 years of lifespan damage on the enemy, causing them to enter a weakened state. An invisible blade, composed of time factors and time rules, slashed towards Xiao Ye and the other three. Xiao Ye, the primordial empress, and Mu Kingsu watched calmly, unmoved. The time-based innate skill blade shattered upon contact with the four, failing to even break their basic defenses. Immune to time attacks. Mu Yan's expression changed drastically. Her filthy body retreated, the hatred in her eyes receding, replaced by solemnity. To be immune to a quasi-saint's attack, these four's cultivation level was beyond her imagination, at least Saint Realm. Or perhaps, these four possessed a high-level Saint Realm defensive treasure. She activated Future Foresight, foresee future scenes, releasing time factors and circulating the power of rules. Crack. 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 But that innate skill, like a machine short-circuiting, only foresaw a fog, revealing nothing of the future. Mu Yan was shocked and inwardly stunned. Mu Kingsu's realm had already reached the Saint Realm? That was too fast. Only about a year had passed. Escape, she had to escape. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Seeing her use her innate skill to leave, Xiao Ye calmly said, Kingsu, this person is your nemesis, I'll leave him to you. Mu Kingsu nodded, her eyes calm, and said, You are my remnant soul from my past life. We should have lived in peace, but you have always tried to harm me. Since that's the case, you have no choice but to die. With a grab of her jade hand, Mu Yan was gripped by a giant energy handprint. With just a little force from Mu Kingsu, Mu Yan's body and soul would be instantly crushed. This level of energy, you've advanced to the Emperor realm? Mu Yan's face showed astonishment, her eyes almost popping out of their sockets. The Emperor realm was rare even in the entire ancient era. Mu Kingsu had actually advanced to the Emperor realm. This is unbelievable. Mu Kingsu was speechless. Emperor realm? Just a weakling. Have you finished your last words? It's time to go. Boom. Her jade hand suddenly exerted force, and Mu Yan's body and soul exploded, turning into nickel powder. The Time Empress exclaimed, I remember now, why do Mu Kingsu and this soul exist in the world? I did that stupid thing, which is why I left my descendants on Blue Star. Xiao Ye and Mu Kingsu were surprised. The ancestral empress's expression changed. Sister, you used to have relations with men in the mortal world? And left descendants? No way, sister, were you really corrupted by humans? The Time Empress's beautiful eyes widened, and she said irritably, I'm an old maid, I've never had relations with anyone. The reason there are souls similar to mine in the world is because of that matter. She recalled, recounting in detail. Everyone listened and summarized it. Back then, when the Time Empress was still at the peak of the Emperor realm, she stole an opportunity from a madwoman in the depths of the starry sky and was hunted down by that madwoman. The Time Empress, believing she couldn't defeat the madwoman and that her will would be erased by her treasure, separated a few wisps of her will and cast them into the river of time on Blue Star, hoping to revive in the future. However, the Time Empress later used a fortuitous opportunity to break through to the Star Domain realm, escaping the madwoman's pursuit. As for the few wisps of her will that were reincarnated, she forgot about them. This reincarnation created Mu Yan in the ancient era, and Mu Yan's reincarnation led to the present Mu Kingsu. Mu Kingsu suddenly understood. No wonder she and the Time Empress looked so alike, practically identical. The Time Empress then lamented, "My breakthrough to the Star Domain realm was rushed, leaving significant after effects. So, even after hundreds of thousands of years, I'm only at the third level of the Star Domain realm, unable to break through again." Mu Kingsu asked in surprise, "Xiao Ye, can't you fix the Beast Girl's physical defects? Can you take a look at the Time Empress's defects?" The Time Empress was her ancestor, the two weren't related by blood, but without the Time Empress, there would be no Mu Kingsu. Xiao Ye glanced at the Time Empress's slender figure and nodded, "Okay, let me see." End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.